time with me, Richard Gordon. We are live at Hampden Park. It is the Scottish League Cup final for season 2022-23. What a titanic battle it promises to be. It's Rangers against Celtic. We'll hear more from Willie Miller at half-time. But right now, full live commentary, as you would expect, here on BBC Radio Scotland, with Pat Bonner, Neil McCann and Liam McLeod.
Well, you better strap yourselves in. We're about to get going here at Hampden. The 16th time these two have contested the League Cup final. Rangers have won 9 of them to Celtic 6. And Aaron Moy takes centre, and Celtic in the green and white hoop shirts, white shorts, white socks, will go from right to left, shooting towards the west end of the stadium, with Rangers in the blue shirts, white shorts, black socks, going left to right, shooting towards Tory Glen in this first half, as Starfelt finds Taylor. And we will find out in a couple of hours' time who will win the first major silverware of the Scottish football season. Will it be Rangers, or will it be the holders retaining the League Cup yet again, something they've done plenty of over the last decade, as Starfelt rolls it to Carter Vickers. The lineups, if you missed them earlier: Alan McGregor in goal, Tavernier, Goldson, Davis and Barisic at the back for Rangers, Lundstrom and Kamara, Sakala, Tillman, Kent and Morelos. Celtic coming forward. I'll run you through their lineup in a moment as Maida turns it back to Hatate. Infield to the captain, Callum McGregor, who's yet to lose a cup final in his career. Hatate bends the ball in, there's too much on it, and sails behind for the goal kick. It's Joe Hart in goal for Celtic, Johnston, Carter Vickers, Starfelt and Taylor, Moy, McGregor, Hatate, Jota and Maida, supporting Kyogo Furuhashi, who's double here a year past December. So Ange Postecoglou lift his first piece of silverware as Celtic manager. First of many, you feel, as he eyes up a clean sweep this season. Alan McGregor will take this goal kick. It's his 38th game against Celtic in Rangers colours, as the long ball comes off Taylor's head back into the Rangers half, where Kyogo nicks it off Kamara. Kyogo moving across halfway, but he's had it pinched off him by Kent, who was a goal scorer against Celtic in the league meeting at Ibrox across the city at the start of last month. So important, of course, to start any game well, any cup final well, but in a Derby Cup final, and the magnitude of this one could be crucial. Pat Bonner.
Yeah, absolutely, and Celtic obviously getting the kick-off and had an opportunity just to get lots of passes in, to get a wee bit of confidence up and get a feel for the pitch also from that perspective. Interesting when they went back to Rangers, Alan McGregor didn't play out short. He played long down this, sort of almost into top of Greg Taylor, but Tillman pushed onto him, and I think that was a tactic, I think, at Ibrox also from that perspective. So that'll be interesting to see will he continue in that vein. Rangers were very good in that game at Ibrox, but still dropped 2 points with 2 minutes to play, as Kyogo scored to level it at 2-2. It's back with Joe Hart at the edge of his box, rolls it short to Callum McGregor, fires it back into his own penalty area to the feet of Starfelt, who rolls it out to Greg Taylor on this near side. They love to play out from the back, of course, as Callum McGregor finds Taylor. Down the line for Hatate, he's in terrific form, but he's shown too much of it to Malik Tillman backtracking, and he elects to knock it back to his goalkeeper. Alan McGregor controlled that really well, you have to say. Came back at him at pace that goalkeepers hate it coming back at them.
Yeah,
bouncing in, Liam. I mean,
Tillman does great to come back and rob Hatate, but he's so casual with the back pass, and we've spoken about the surface, but it looks a wee bit spongy to me, but it hopped up, but McGregor did well.
There's a long ball for Kyogo. Goldson stretches out the long leg to get onto it and get it away, as Tillman collects on this near side. He's chopped to the floor by Hatate, and that will be a free kick to Rangers, almost bang on the halfway line. We played 3.5 goalless minutes, still in the infancy of this League Cup final, but already a couple of challenges in there that are annoying both sets of supporters.
Yeah, I think all challenges will affect the supporters in that way, Liam. I think there was nothing in that. It was a kind of almost like a I think he caught Tillman's head, Hatate, as he was going to ground, and there was an accident, and the referee was right beside it. So
first League Cup final for Nick Walsh in the middle. John Beaton, incidentally, is the VAR on duty as the long ball goes right through to Hart. It's a poor free kick, and it's an easy claim for the Celtic keeper, who underarm bowls it short there to Carter Vickers, and out onto that right hand side for Johnston in the Glasgow sunshine. Really pleasant afternoon barely a breath of wind. It's the perfect conditions for a cup final. It's obviously a little bit colder than May or June. It's almost like Scottish Cup final weather. Later League Cup final this season because of the World Cup, as Greg Taylor gives it to Lundstrom under pressure from Tillman. Malik Tillman has it on this near side, right hand side of the Celtic box. Maida back helping, Taylor's there for Celtic, and then Hatate goes through the gears away from Tavernier and squares it to Johnston. Dealt with that really well, did Rio Hatate. There's a challenge by Morelos on Johnston, and it goes out of play on the far side, and it will be a free kick to Celtic just for that challenge by Morelos. He certainly left his mark on Johnston there. He was so late.
Yeah, it's a free kick. Morelos just with the elbow into Johnston's back. But I mean, Rangers are trying to squeeze Celtic, but Callum McGregor is so important. He takes it under all sorts of pressure. Starfelt's actually been good, Pat, in terms of his distribution, because he's come under the heat of Sakala and Morelos a couple of times, but he's found his mark with the pass to get out under pressure. But Rangers, you can see they've set their stall out with the three up top. Kent, Morelos, Sakala going for it. Tillman's a backup man, and Lundstrom and Kamara will provide a little bit extra security should they go through the press.
Celtic in possession with Carter Vickers right of the centre circle in his own half, squares it to Starfelt. It's two of the most settled back fours in Scottish football right now. These two, as a long ball for Maida, who gives chase. He's going to get there, but he slices his cross well wide, and that will be a goal kick to Rangers. Dyson Maida, who had a hand in the first goal for Celtic in the semi-final win over Kilmarnock, but it is a goal kick as it goes horribly wrong for him as he drove down that left hand side. He's so much pace to burn, does Maida, as Tavernier clears down this right hand side. Taylor underneath it, his pass first time forward goes straight to Lundstrom, and then the misunderstanding with Tillman sees the ball go out for a Celtic throw-in on this near side. 6 minutes in, 0-0.
He's got that style, Tillman, where he just looks horizontal. I mean, he's so relaxed, and it comes off as really casual. He needs to get his mark in, because once he's on the ball, he's really strong, the kid. He's powerful. He's a big player for Rangers today, but he needs to take care. This is a fixture that can grab you if you're too slack and you're too laid back. The intensity of the fixture can just eat you up.
Yeah, I think the other issue slightly just at the moment for Rangers is that Maeda is obviously holding Tavernier back in his position, and it's Hatate that's sort of almost coming out onto this sort of left-hand side with Taylor staying a little bit deeper, and Tillman's been forced to go out there to try to pick him up. Leaves McGregor spare also, and Celtic are dictating the game a little bit.
That's exactly though what Rangers want there, just what happened with Joe Hart punting it up the pitch, because Kyogo is never going to win any of those first contacts with Goldson and Davis. They're going to always try and play out, and this is a tactic clearly that Mick Beale has implemented the early stages of this match.
Well, up until last season, Scottish Cup Rangers' Hampden Park record over the last decade had been really poor. They've won 5 of their last 14, including those Scottish Cup semi and final wins over Celtic and Hearts last season. Celtic, by contrast, have only lost 1 of their last 19 games here. And it was always a problematic stadium for Neil Lennon during his first spell as Celtic manager. But they seldom lose games here, though. They did lose to Rangers after extra time in that Scottish Cup semi last season, back in April of last year, as Hatate finds Moy just outside the centre circle. It's with Johnston, rolls it low out to Jota. First real feel of the ball for the Portuguese. It's a chip there to Kyogo, chests it down onto the 6-yard line, and Ben Davies clears with Johnston lurking. It looked like that was going to fall for Kyogo to have a go himself there initially. It stays after 8 minutes, nothing each.
Yeah, it was good play in the middle of the pitch between Hatate, Aaron, Moy, just to get beyond that sort of almost midfield of Rangers, and then they were in that forward position. Here's a good chance for them.
Jota's in, right hand side, Maida's waiting, so's Kyogo, but he couldn't find either of them. Goldson clears, flag's gone up anyway. Yeah. Neil called it, and it's going to be a free kick to Rangers, but that's a nervy moment for the Rangers defence. We remember how they were caught out by the offside in the semi-final against Aberdeen when Miovski was in an offside position, but they didn't bargain, and Matty Kennedy driving down the right hand side of the area.
That's right, yeah, it was a deeper line run that done them. I mean, but Jota, they can see there, he's a really good player at taking it to feet because he's so technical, but I love that from a wide player where he just dips the shoulder and goes in behind. That time I did feel that Barisic had just done his job with his line, holding it, whether it was intentional or not, but offside. But just a warning shot that Celtic, they want to play through you, but they're quite prepared to go over the top, and I believe that's where they maybe hold the advantage in that area, because they're quicker than Rangers back four.
It's a foul by Kamara on Callum McGregor, who in fairness to the Celtic skipper bounced straight back up. The free kick had been awarded by Nick Walsh. And it's back with Starfelt here, 9.5 in. Rangers 0, Celtic 0. Rangers listed as the home team as it goes out to the right hand side for Johnston. Onto the touchline, Jota. Moy ahead of him. Jota turns back facing his own half, passes it back to Carter Vickers, who's under pressure from Morelos, who's won it off. Carter Vickers, not often you see him make that kind of mistake there as Tillman drives forward. Tillman down the middle of the pitch for Kent, it just flicks off his boot, and Carter Vickers is there to redeem himself, having had his pocket picked just a moment ago by Morelos.
Wrong choice, Liam. He fired that into Kent. I don't think Kent was ever looking for it. I think the ball was to push it out to Sakala or Tavernier, and again it was just that momentary little bit of slackness from Tillman, just to make sure he executes the pass well, because Morelos did ever so well by Robin Starfelt.
Celtic haven't lost a League Cup final since 2012 when Dieter van Tornhout scored for Kilmarnock in that win back in 2012, 11 years ago now, just about. As Starfelt rolls it back to his goalkeeper, and his heart on the edge of his box. Long right-footed ball out to that far side. Barisic is underneath it, cushion header forward down into the ground, but it's Aaron Moy sliding to win it back. He finds Callum McGregor, now it's with Taylor looking for Maida down the left hand side of the box. Maida's under no pressure at the moment, stops and checks his run, looks up at the box, passes it back to Greg Taylor, headed away by Lundstrom. And then Callum McGregor recycles it and knocks it back onto halfway for Starfelt. Celtic trying to get into their stride here. When they do, they're a difficult thing to stop as Taylor plays it back the way to McGregor. McGregor down the left-hand side for Maida. He's level with the Rangers penalty spot. Just waiting and watching and passing it to Moy at the left angle of the box. Aaron Moy, is it nicked off from there by Goldson? And the referee says there's a bit of pulling there by the Aussie. And that's going to be a free kick to Rangers just on the right hand side of their own box. It's Rangers 0, Celtic 0, 11.5 minutes played.
Pat, you maybe wouldn't have experienced this, but the outfield players maybe more so, but 10 minutes into the game,
your legs,
it's your lungs. I'm looking already at a couple of players, Lundstrom, Kamara in the middle of the pitch, Moy in there as well with Hatate. The mouths are open because this fixture is breathless at the start of it, and it does take you 15-20 minutes to get the traction, get the speed of the game before you start to relax and start to come into your own in terms of your fitness.
Morelos took that down brilliantly. Morelos, he started the game pretty well. As Kent finds Kamara, he's under pressure from Jota, manages to work it back to Lundstrom just about, and then Kamara scoops it into the path of Kent, rolls to the left hand side of the box for Barisic. His cross is cut out at source by Johnston, but the expense of Rangers' first corner of this cup final, indeed the first corner of the cup final. 12 in 0-0.
You're right about Morelos. I think he looks as if he's putting the work in, also closing people down. He looks sharp, much better than I've seen him in previous games against Celtic. And he looks a threat, but now they get their corner, and this is the set play. It'll be interesting to see how Celtic defend against this.
It's coming in, it's got to come in short. You would think Kamara, who's not the natural, they're short. Taking it short, 2v1.
Short to Kent, back to Kamara, looks up at the box, rolls it to the edge of it for Lundstrom, takes a heavy touch, he gets it back to Kamara. This is where you makes more sense surely to put it back in the penalty area immediately, but here's Tillman looking to keep it going here down to the byline, puts it back, Carter Vickers blocks, Lundstrom's shot's blocked on the 6-yard line, kind of scuffed at it really, as Rangers pick up with Kent. He's away from his man, chops on to the right, and he balloons it high over Joe Hart's bar. And 13 minutes in, Rangers 0, Celtic 0, but that's Rangers' best passing, attacking move of the match, and it did come, to be fair, from the short corner.
Yeah, it was always set up like that with Kamara going out. I mean, I was just surprised that Celtic didn't switch on to it. I thought actually Tillman really good at driving at people. That's clearly what they want to do. I thought he overran it, Liam. I thought the ball was out, and I just wonder, had that ball ended up in the net, would they have gone back and had a look at it? But again, it's Rangers taking it short out in the side there, and they were always trying to work it to get a 1v1 situation.
A foul on Aaron Moy meantime in the Rangers half. It's almost about level with the edge of the centre circle. North stand side over there as it's played back into the Celtic half. Carter Vickers, and now with Callum McGregor, and he rolls it right to left of the circle for Starfelt, along the grass out to Taylor on the near side. Taylor forward to Hatate, holding off Tillman, low ball comes off Goldson, and it breaks favourably for his goalkeeper, and Alan McGregor bowls it short to Lundstrom with Moy all over him. Out to the far side, Kamara stabs it forward to the outside of the boot for Lundstrom. It's sliding challenge by Aaron Moy to win it back for Celtic. He's been so impressive, in particular since his excellent showing at the World Cup finals with Australia. As it comes to Starfelt just outside the centre circle, he's inside his own half here, turns out to this near side, finds Maida right in front of the watching Michael Beale. First time ball forward is cut out by Tillman, and Taylor happy for it to go out for the throw-in, which he's looking to take quickly, as is their want. Short to Hatate, now it's McGregor to Hatate, gives it straight to Morelos, who's very deep inside.
Started the game brilliantly.
Well, that shows you that he's in the mood to impress today, Alfredo Morelos. He's got his own little ghosts, I would imagine, to deal with. He saw his penalty saved here by Fraser Forster in the 2019 final, and you might remember that Celtic scored with Julian, and just a few minutes later Jeremy Frimpong committed the foul in the box, was sent off, and Morelos missed the big opportunity from the penalty spot that came as a result of the Frimpong foul. And Celtic saw it out despite playing with 10. Long ball, Hatate for Kyogo, just on the shoulder of the defender, but he can't keep it in play, and that's a goal kick to Rangers, and it will stay 0 each on 15 minutes.
Yeah, and he built the ball through the thirds of the pitch there, and Kyogo's going to always be dangerous, and he's playing on the shoulder of defenders. That time just the ball got away from him, but he was always looking to get in behind, and that's a real threat, and he's got that pace. But I think the game started off as maybe in a predictable fashion. Celtic with lots of maybe possession of the ball, working the ball after short passing. Rangers then working hard, Morelos leading that line, and then getting their set piece, and maybe probably getting their best chance of the game so far.
It is Connor Goldson. Incidentally, Scotland are 12-0 down and have received a red card as well in Paris in the Six Nations. Coverage of that on BBC Radio Scotland, Extra 810 medium wave and on digital, here on FM and on sounds, and online at bbc.co.uk/Sports Scotland. It's the 77th Scottish League Cup final, 16 minutes old. It is goalless as Celtic pick up with the Hatate, flicks it out to Taylor, and then on to Maida, level with the Rangers 18. Now he's going to attack Tavernier into the penalty area, to the bylines. Maida, I think that's gone out, and it has done. Nick Ball spotted it, goal kick to Rangers. A couple of times though that Dyson Maida's found himself in a really decent pocket of space down this left hand side in the final third.
Yeah, you can see that James Tavernier is kind of backing off. He doesn't really want to go and approach him because he's got up at a pace, and it just allows him to knock that ball kind of almost beyond into a space where he's knocked it out of play. But it'll be interesting to see as the game develops, will Maida be an influence, or will James Tavernier be able to deal with him?
It's Goldson, the challenge, and Callum McGregor shoots towards the Rangers box, blocked by Barisic. It's Morelos who goes down. He's looking for a free kick. The referees, I think, allowing Rangers an advantage. It comes to nothing, so he's going to bring it back here. And Morelos is down on the ground, clutching his right ankle.
I don't think the referees get too much of a problem with it, and there's absolutely nothing in it either. There's nothing in that. If anything, he's banged his foot against Alistair Johnson. It's not nothing intentional. In fact, I would go as far as say I don't even know it was a free kick, but nonetheless the referee has given it.
18th minute of the final. It was Grant Gilchrist, incidentally, who was sent off or received that red card in the Six Nations match in the Stade de France, as Goldson dumps it away out north stand side for a throw-in. I believe the French have had a red card as well, so 14 plays 14, and it is still 12-0 to the French. Goalless here at the National Stadium. Came on again as Starfelt plays it out to Greg Taylor, forward towards Hatate, gets it into his stride. First time he's managed to move it to Moy, the edge of the D. Little chip, it's clever to Jota, volleys it towards goal, and it's going to be caught by Alan McGregor pretty comfortably in his 6-yard line there. Jota just tried to cut across it and look for Kyogo Maida there as well. Has he even maybe just been caught in a rock in a hard place? Does he go for a shot at goal himself?
I think he was just too clever. I think he could have taken it down and got a shot away, but he tried to kind of almost, as you say, cut across it, bend it round Alan McGregor, and I don't even know whether it was a cross or a shot on target, but it was just been too clever.
Up the other end, it's Rangers in Celtic territory here. Tavernier for Tillman. Tillman's level with the edge of the D of the Celtic box, plays it into the area. Morelos might make it work here. He gets it back there from Sakala on the turn. His shot's blocked. just to the right of the penalty spot, and Celtic pick up, and it's with Johnston over on that right hand side.
Just a bit light in numbers for me, Rangers into the penalty area there. Tillman gets in good possession of the ball. It's Sakala and Morelos, but there was so many other Celtic jerseys surrounding him. I don't think there was enough support from one of the midfielders. Ryan Kent getting around there. Going back to that chance when Hatate bounces it to Moy, I think Moy should have played him in. He had a wonderful 1-2 option, decided not to play it, and had he played it, Hatate had broken through the gap of Goldson and Tavernier.
Carter Vickers, short ball to Moy, first time out to Johnston, down the right hand touchline for Jota, gets it back from Moy. Lovely little flick there by Jota to get away from his man, but it's a good slide challenge by Tillman, and then there's another challenge gone in, and Ben Davis, and Nick Walsh sees that as a free kick as well to Rangers midway inside their own half.
Yeah, well, what the referee doesn't want to do early on in this game is take out a yellow, does he, or anything of that nature, because it puts himself under pressure later as the game comes on. That's always the case. So players will get away with the odd misdemeanor at the moment.
Yeah, 20 minutes in, though, approaching the end of the first quarter of it. Sakala wins a header, goes straight through to Hart, though, from that long free kick, and Hart bowls it to his right for Johnston. Johnston attacking the halfway line here. He's got Moy to his right. It's a long ball for Kyogo. He's in behind Davis. Gets it round Alan McGregor, who makes the challenge. Kyogo goes down. The Celtic supporters howl for a penalty.
He must have got a touch, Alan McGregor. I tell you, he's brave, and he has to be. And if he's got a touch, it's absolutely crucial.
Here's Hatate though for Jota. Celtic smell blood. Jota gets it back, shoots, and Alan McGregor makes the save. Tavernier prevents the corner as well. Celtic bursting into life, and two probes at that Rangers defence there, and Alan McGregor involved in both of them. It stays 0-0 on 21.
Well, the first one was over the top again for Kyogo.
Yeah.
I just thought he lost control of the ball a little bit, and give Alan McGregor the opportunity to come out. I'd like to see the replay of it again to see did he get a touch on the ball, because if he didn't, I think he might have brought Kyogo down, but the referee, and I don't think VAR has almost done anything about it, so I would assume that McGregor has got a touch on the ball. It was a good save. Two good saves.
Jota down the left hand side. He's now down to the byline. He gets his cross in, but Alan McGregor holds on at the near post. That's where Celtic can do you, Neil.
Yeah.
That previous moment there with Alan McGregor with the challenge on Kyogo.
Yep.
Your head can be swimming a little bit, but Celtic come again very quickly.
Yeah, they never switch off, but that ball over the top, that's certainly been an area where I think Celtic can go to with Kyogo. That's the difference with Kyogo. He'll go in behind, no problem at all. The ball hasn't stopped, I want to add, so whether the ball stops at some point and they do go back and have a look at it with Alan McGregor, but I thought Nick Walsh's position was good. Kyogo didn't shout too much for it, so it would suggest that he knows that McGregor got a touch on it.
I think they would have stopped the play by now. I think it's gone too far now as that goes out for a throw into Rangers. This time it's they who are attacking down that left hand side, level with the Celtic penalty spot. A Barisic's throw in. The guys are getting a chance to have a look at a replay of Alan McGregor on Kyogo.
Oh, yeah, gets a big hand on it. Brilliant.
It was a good save. And then, of course, he followed up with another great save a couple of seconds later from the shot.
Yeah, the effort from Jota as Tavernier picks up on this right-hand side, controls in the chest, moves infield away from Hatate. Square ball for Lundstrom. And now it's with Kamara. Out to that left-hand side, down goes Kent, no free kick. Celtic pick up with Aaron Moy. On the turn, looking for an option in green and white. Kamara's all over him. Wins it back momentarily, but it breaks Callum McGregor's way. And the Celtic skipper now is into his stride, driving down that right-hand side. Passes it forward, Maida can't get onto it though, and Rangers pick up with Ben Davis out to Barisic, and he clears with the left foot.
Ryan Kent's had a quiet start. He's had one or two glimpses, but not enough for me. He's playing on the periphery. He needs to get himself involved for Rangers.
Lovely little bit of skill there by Maida to find Hatate. He goes down, no free kick.
Yeah, I thought Kamara won the ball fairly, Liam.
Hatate, a quizzical look at Nick Walsh, who wasn't interested in the Celtic midfielder's appeal. Rangers pick up with Kent over on that far side. Looking to switch the play here, and he does that successfully for Tavernier. Controls it and crosses the halfway line. Now he's looking for Sakala behind. Sakala's got in behind Taylor here. Sakala right hand side of the box, pulls it back, cut out, Rangers corner.
Yeah, brilliant move, Liam. He took him short and then spun in behind for Tavernier. Done Greg Taylor, but to be honest, brilliant from the Celtic fullback. He didn't ever give up on it. He got himself, he realised that he couldn't get across to Sakala. That race was finished, but he made sure he went straight for goal and cut the cross back out for a corner kick. But a really good movement from the wide player Sakala.
Yeah, he and Tillman have looked excellent since Michael Beale took the reins. Ryan Kent's had a bit of a new lease of life as well. It's Rangers' 36th League Cup final. They've only lost 8 of the 35 they've played in before, and they did lose that last one to Celtic here in 2019. Rangers corner coming up. Nick Walsh not happy.
Yeah, Carter Vickers and Goldson.
It's a really interesting one. Kyogo's almost picking up that front post area, which he's not the biggest. They lack height, of course, Celtic, so they've got to.
Yeah, and it comes from Barisic with the left foot, in swinger towards the back post, aim for Ben Davis, comes off Davis's head and behind harmlessly. Yeah. Goal kick on 25. Packy, I remember the League Cup final a year past December. Hibs scored first through Paul Hanlon from the corner, and that came at a time when Celtic were conceding loads of goals from set plays. They've certainly tightened up on that aspect this season.
Absolutely, I think they've looked at it and they have managed to be able to handle the set pieces. When you don't have a lack of height, then you've got to almost be up against people and not let people have a run at you, that's for sure. But when I looked at it from a Kyogo perspective, in the near post, Golston right on top of the goalkeeper, that area, and the ball was hit to the back post, which surprised me a little bit.
Here comes Celtic. Jota, disguised pass from Moy, right hand side of the Rangers box. Davis is there, and he put it out for a Celtic throw in about level with the Rangers penalty spot, over on that north stand side. The two goalkeepers defending the goals at either end where their supporters are housed. As Starfelt picks up in the centre circle, out to Taylor on this near side. Celtic have moved it from right to left, and now it's with Maida, level with the penalty spot, taking on Tavernier. Poor touch, and that goes behind for a goal kick. And of course, Daisen Maida opened the scoring in the meeting between the two at Ibrox at the start of last month. Feels like a heck of a long time ago. That match finished 2 apiece.
Liam, that's been about 2 or 3 times now. He's got the ball in really good positions, and he's going to take on, and James Tavernier just steps off him a little bit, just steps out, doesn't have to go and try to commit himself to the tackle, and Maeda's just knocked it out of play and lost control.
Here come Rangers up the other end. Kent's got some space, pokes it to the right hand side of the box. It's Sakala, he's inside the area, chopping and changing, trying to cross, comes off Starfelt, then back off Sakala and behind for a Celtic goal kick. And Sakala's got some annoyed teammates to apologise to.
He has. Kent picked it up and drove and passed it to Sakala. Sakala did 2 or 3 little shuffles. He had an angle to smash it to an extra touch, and to be honest, I thought the defending from Starfelt was class. He didn't oversell himself. He had an opportunity, Sakala, he didn't take it. Starfelt didn't switch off and shut the gap down. Really good.
Here comes Celtic. Hatate down this left hand side for Maida, blocked by Tavernier. The break of the ball favours Maida, though. He goes back to his countryman Hatate, and in field to Callum McGregor. Now Jota in a central area, hits the nutmeg on Kent, and then out to the right. Johnston swings the deep cross in at the back post, too high for Maida, and then Hatate lashes it high and wide. And on 27.5 minutes it remains Rangers 0, Celtic 0 here in the League Cup final. Celtic have won 5 of the last 7 of these, albeit different squads of players.
Yeah, just the final ball for Celtic in around the box has not been good enough so far in this game. They've got into decent positions, but the final ball just in, either a cross or even trying to get a shot on target, just hasn't come off for them.
Cameras there trained on Kemar Roof, who's in the stand, not stripped. He's had so many injury issues over the last year and a bit. He was the man who scored the winning goal in the semi against Aberdeen in extra time, as Rangers squeezed through. Celtic were given a good game by Kilmarnock the night before as well, in atrocious conditions, not just underfoot. As Celtic pick up with Greg Taylor, out to Hatate, beyond the midway point of the Rangers half on this near side. Short ball to the left angle in the box. Taylor gets it across, bobbles around, breaks back towards Hatate. Sakala does really well, though, just alleviates all the pressure on his defenders as Lundstrom collects and looks for Kent. Too much on the pass, and Carter Vickers will knock it back to his goalkeeper. 28.5 played. It is goalless, and it's a little bit tense, I would say. I think there's the quality in the final third for both teams has been poor.
Yeah, I think the pitch is heavy.
Yeah, I agree with you, Neil.
Yeah, I think the pitch is heavy and it's already sapping into it. I tell you, if I was Mick Beale, I'd have a concern for Moy. in Celtic, because he's running off the back of central midfielders and he's causing a real threat to Rangers' backline. He's getting in behind Kamara, he's getting in behind Lundstrom. Lundstrom, I would say, he's obviously been out of the side. He's back in today, and I can understand why, but he looks a little bit out of sorts. He looks a bit sluggish, just not quite up to speed.
Two managers down on the edge of their technical areas there. Michael Beale to the left of Ange Postecoglou at the bottom of those yawning technical areas that we have here. And Michael Beale's made the best start as a Rangers manager since Alec McLeish, who went on to be a treble-winning Rangers manager, of course. That long ball for them finds Sakala. He's controlled it brilliantly. Now he's got a chance to attack the Celtic defence. He's inside the area now. Rolls it along the 18-yard line for Tillman. It's a congested area though. Celtic had 4 around them and they get it away. Only as far as Tavernier. He finds Lundstrom back into his own half for Goldson. And he looks for Sakala. It's an ambitious one though. Well defended by Taylor. Breaks Ryan Kent's way though. Rolls it to the left for Morelos. Morelos with a square ball to Kent. He's at the edge of the penalty area. Finds Tavernier. Low ball across. And it goes just wide of the right-hand post. It was just past the right-hand post there. Sakala attacked it. And Carter Vickers was there to make the difference.
Yeah, it was a good defensive position. He got his body just in the way of the ball.
Defending part, honestly. Yeah. Tillman's got a tap in. Sakala's missed it. He can't quite get there. It's a brilliant ball. But Carter Vickers, I mean, that is a vital block.
It could have gone in. It could have gone into the net. Into his own net.
He was just stretching. It was almost every sinew of his body to get his toe to the ball to knock it by the post.
Rangers corner, Barisic takes it and it comes, it bounces in the 6-yard box and it's flicked behind for another corner on the reverse side by Aaron Moy. 0-0, but Rangers chapping on the door here.
Great ball from Barisic, wonderful delivery. Sakala was up early and misses it. I think it's on his head. Kyogo's just in and around him, might have been putting him off with Greg Taylor, but yeah, maybe just Kyogo does enough there. He doesn't quite get up high enough. Aaron Moy clears the danger, but yeah, just a bit of pressure being applied by Rangers now. Yeah,
and I'm looking at front post there again. There's a huge space for somebody, if there's a block, somebody to get in there. Goldson is holding, pinning Carter Vickers.
Rangers 0, Celtic 0. Tavernier swings the corner and it's a good one. Morelos can't quite get anything on it though, and Hatate puts it behind for another. It's a good period of pressure this for Rangers against the holders. Man
for man in there, Liam. They're taking McGregor out because Tavernier can directly put it in with pace. Tillman for a 2v1, so McGregor's cleared the area. It's 4v4 edge of the box, and Goldson's in there against the keeper, so we'll be put into that 6-yard area.
Tavernier takes again, swings it in. It's flicked away by Carter Vickers, and looked as though Goldson had the back of his shirt was being pulled a little bit there. There was no complaints as Celtic get it away comfortably enough, and it goes out actually for a Celtic throw-in on this near side off Barisic, right in front of the Rangers manager.
Celtic be pleased with that bit of pressure gone now.
Absolutely. I've got to say Carter Vickers did really well. First defending that the cross, but also in the last corner where he's got up above Goldson, the head away and round about a 6-yard box. Really important.
Long ball down this near side for Jota. Tavernier's the covering player, and he
switch wingers
for a throw-in.
The switch wingers, Liam. I don't know if it's by design or by accident after defending that corner, whether the players are just spread, but Maeda's gone to the right, Jota out here to the left. Maeda we spoke about not getting much joy against Tavernier.
There's Taylor on the near side, level with the Rangers penalty spot. Back to Jota. He goes back to Starfelt. 33 minutes almost gone in this final. It's goalless. Carter Vickers pings the ball out to Maeda. It's a fabulous ball, and Barisic to concede the corner with a challenge on Daisen Maeda. It's Celtic's turn to have a go. Aaron Moy out there to take the corner.
Everybody back in Rangers colours, Liam. Every single player back in that penalty area, nobody up the pitch.
It's going to be Aaron Moy to take. Outswinger with the right foot into the Rangers box. It comes. Goldson might have got something on that. Starfelt was attacking it. Either way, it comes out to this near side of the box with Hatate. He rolls it back to Taylor, who squares it infield to McGregor. Alan McGregor then switching it back out to the right for Jota. And he's going to have to go back to his keeper here. The Rangers had shut down all other options. As Joe Hart's clearance finds the north stand over on the far side. 0-0, tense occasion here on the pitch, in the stands, in the dugouts, I would have thought as well. Ange Postecoglou is approaching the 100-game mark for Celtic now. His winning percentage is bettered only by Martin O'Neill's 75%, which was impressively built up over almost 300 games. So Postecoglou's got a way to go to match or better that quite clearly, but to be sitting with a better winning percentage than Brendan Rodgers and his invincible side is quite something, as Tavernier picks up on this near side. Sakala in field, Tavernier taking it down towards the corner flag, twisting and turning, looking for space to cross, being closed down by two Celtic players, Taylor and Maidan. Eventually goes out for a Rangers throw-in, much to the annoyance of the Celtic players in attendance there. So we approach the final 10 minutes of the first half. Tillman looking to get the break of the ball. Hatate defends it brilliantly though. Taylor back to Hatate. Did he take that out? It's gone out now, but it's a Celtic throw-in. It came bouncing off Malik Tillman. So the final 10 minutes, Packie Bonner, of the first half here. Rangers 0, Celtic 0. Nothing really in it.
No, very little in it, and I'm looking at that man on the ball, Starfield. He's actually done well playing in that position, because you would expect him at times just to be under a lot more pressure, because he's almost right-footed playing out there, but he's done really, really well. He's been, and I'm not sure whether Greg Taylor is given him, good angles and that, but he's able to get the ball away fairly easily and build a game. Celtic, as I said, playing quite well, but in the final third just letting themselves down, I think, a little bit.
Yeah, they're not up to those levels in the final third as yet. No, we've seen them recently.
Yeah,
and as for Carl Starfelt, perhaps just having Greg Taylor beside him on the left every single game is helping him out. He certainly looks a lot more comfortable than he did last season, and he is playing.
But he's doing a
side.
simple thing right away. He's playing off a second touch, which is the right thing to do. Get it out, play with your right foot, get it away early to Greg Taylor when he's in that space.
I think 35 minutes into the game, Liam, you can see that these two teams have been very comparable in terms of their form. They're close. I mean, you can see that Rangers are every bit in this game as Celtic are. He's so finely balanced, this match.
Yeah, I mean, it's been an almost perfect start to life as Rangers manager for Michael Beale, but he's not been able to make a dent in what's happening at Celtic Park. Such has been the consistency for them as Hatate finds Johnston, rolls it inside the D of the Rangers box for Moy. Rangers have enough bodies in the way and they get it clear.
Yeah, that's an example of what I was talking about. I think Johnston had a chance there maybe to pull the trigger also, and elected to pass to Moy, who just got it caught under his feet.
Taylor winning it back for Celtic. He of course gave Celtic the lead in that Scottish Cup semi last season. A rare occasion that Celtic scored first against domestic opposition and lost. The only time since 2018, in fact. Here's Jota on the right, scampering in field along the 18-yard line of Rangers. He finds Kyogo, who found just a little bit of space, shuffled to his right and shoots over the bar, and it stays Rangers 0, Celtic 0 on 37.
Good effort, wasn't far away, just took it out, as you say, out of his feet. Didn't get any bend on it. I think it was probably just a shot at target rather than maybe bending it in there from there, but it was a good opportunity for him to show us what he's made of, and he certainly did that on that occasion.
Celtic have won each of the last 6 League Cup finals and 11 Cup finals overall. They have had a glittering decade since their last League Cup final defeat. The last Cup final defeat. As Tavernier prepares to take a throw in on the near side, level with the edge of the centre circle. Main south stand side of Hampden. 38th minute of the game. Nothing between them on the pitch and nothing between them on the scoreboard. As it comes off the head of Morelos and out for a Celtic throw in on the near side. Certainly hasn't been a classic Cup final yet.
It's been interesting. It's been interesting though. As you say, it's kind of been quite nervy from that point of view.
I don't think too many neutrals will have enjoyed the football so far, but for the two sets of supporters here, it's you can't take your eyes off it.
I tell you what, Joe Hart, Packie, he takes some chances, does he not? Sometimes when he comes out higher, it's as if he just switches up for a momentary second. and gives the opposition just a little bit of
a chance.
A chance, yeah.
It's not his forte, as we always said since he's come to the club. It's not his forte playing brilliantly with his feet, but he lends himself to the game, and he does take chance and so on. But if you're sharp enough and you can almost trigger him into making a little mistake.
Well, there is a mistake, and Kent's onto it for Rangers. He manages to stab it back to Tillman. Midway inside Celtic territory, Tillman's forced back the way into his own half for Goldson. Here's Davis, Jota chasing him, and he gets the pass out to Barisic on the left-hand side. Towards the edge of the circle there for Lundstrom. Out to that far side, it's played in field there by Kamara to Morelos, and then back into the centre circle for Goldson.
Opened it up well, Liam.
Spreads the play to Ryan Kent down the right-hand side. Chops away from Maida, drives along the edge of the Celtic box, looking for some space. He elects to shoot, and it's a terrible effort, really. It's gone way past Joe Hart's goal, and it'll stay Rangers 0, Celtic 0. 39.5 minutes. Again, it's decision making in the final third.
Yeah, again, Rangers worked it really well under good pressure from Celtic. Worked it out here to Kent, who found himself on the right side. When he drove inside Liam, I thought he had a better angle the first time. Elected to take it on again, and then by that time he's almost gone past the far post and trying to generate power off of that left side. It was always going to end up behind the goals or high, but he had a better opportunity earlier on in the move.
So this final remains goalless, and Celtic pinch it back with Jota. He's forced it through to Kyogo, lashes it wide of the near post there as Alan McGregor looks relieved, because Kyogo has not had much space inside the Rangers box in this first half. But on this occasion he did. It was slipped through to him by Jota up against Goldson, but it's enough pressure from the Rangers defender, and he puts it wide. In the final 5 minutes of the first half are upon us. It remains 0-0.
Yeah, he just off balance a little bit when he struck it, but he also had hit at the back post if he was able to slip it across the 6-yard box. But I think all strikers, when they get into that position, you see the goal, they're always going to take on the shot. Kent getting caught on the ball in the midfield, which
Lundstrom's going to try and find Morelos in behind, but Starfelt's there to close the door, and the Swede plays it short to Johnston, who squares it infield to Callum McGregor.
You can see the problem that Lundstrom has there. He can't go long in behind with Morelos up top. It has to be into feet.
Moy, first time to Jota, to the right-hand side of the Rangers box. Johnston, first time right foot cross. Kyogo's header's over! Well, the ball was played down that right really quickly by Celtic, and Kyogo met it pretty flush in the head, but he couldn't find the target, and it stays goalless.
Oh, he's got to at least hit the target, and he didn't. It was almost a really good cross from Johnson into the box. He found space, and it's come off almost the top of his head, hasn't it? Really, Neil.
Packy, I think he should score. I mean, at least test Alan McGregor there. That's a great chance. That's a brilliant ball from Alistair Johnson. And Kyogo just does a little sideward step to the right, steps off a Connor Goldson who's protecting an area rather than picking up the man. But that shouldn't happen. Kyogo's not the biggest figure. He's got good movement and should never be pulling off a centre back like that.
Yeah, some amount of space he had. Stays 0-0. Kyogo scored 2 wonderful goals in last season's final against Hibs, including one a minute after Paul Hanlon had put Hibernian in front. Here is Taylor for Celtic, back into his own half for Starfelt, and then back to Joe Hart. The Celtic fans off to our right, shielding their eyes from the late afternoon sunshine here in this late February on Glasgow's south side. The first domestic silverware of the season will be sorted today. Could be a long afternoon, extra time and penalties if necessary. But here comes Celtic with Maida, left-hand side of the Rangers box. Support from Hatate. Dinks it back towards Taylor. It was the more ambitious of the 2 options, and Lundstrom's there to clear for Rangers. Celtic come again though, looking to get their noses in front before half-time. Carter Vickers, short ball to Callum McGregor, and it's a short one there to Starfelt as well, as Carter Vickers picks up, squares it to his central defensive partner Starfelt. 19-7's the current scoreline in the Stade de France. They're just about at half-time there, I would suggest. 19-7 France. Coverage continues in medium wave and extra. Here comes Celtic. Low ball, Taylor! Kyogo is there, as he was in last season's final! And Kyogo Furuhashi breaks the deadlock in the 22-23 League Cup final with
front. Again, Carl Starfelt involved in it, and when the ball went wide, Rangers didn't close down, and when the ball came across, it was Maeda that missed it right at the near post, and Kyogo was simply unmarked right in the 6-yard box to have a simple tap in.
I need to see where he goes, Connor Goldson, but he's right out the game, which means that as Ben Davies is in the middle of the box, Maeda actually tries to help it on its way with his left foot. He gets the slightest of touches, but I then thought Davies misses it. Whether it's a little touch from Maeda makes that happen, I don't know, but Kyogo just walks into the box, into the 6-yard box, and it's an easiest tap-in you could ever wish to have in a cup final, or any game for that matter. But I wonder where Connor Goldson had gone to.
Here comes Celtic again, by the way. Tavernier gets an important flick away from Maeda. Deep in the final minute of the 45, it comes off Maeda and out for a Rangers throw-in. Celtic doing what they do. They score goals at the most opportune moments, whether it's late in a first half or late in the match itself. And Kyogo Furuhashi has just scored his 23rd goal of the campaign, and it's come on one of the biggest stages of all, Hampden Park, League Cup final. And the man who single-handedly won it for Celtic with his goals in last season's showpiece has done it again.
Well, it's such a crucial time also for Celtic to score, for Rangers to lose one just in at half-time. It changes the complexion of this game.
That's a blow to the solar plexus for Rangers, that, Neil McCann.
Yeah, it is. I think Maeda has really struggled in a wide position. He went inside there and freed up Greg Taylor, who I think has been absolutely brilliant for Celtic down this left channel, but he puts in a lovely ball. But yeah, I think the concern is, and Michael Beale will be wondering how these back four get so disjointed on that attack.
1 minute of injury time, Neil, by the way, but Rangers coming forward with Sakala. The challenge comes in from Starfelt, and we're now about 10 seconds away from half-time now. It's the firecrackers going off in the Celtic end of Hampden Park here.
Yeah, Carl Starfelt has done really well so far in this game, but defensively also there was an opportunity there. I know the referee gave a free kick, but he actually came across and covered and won that ball. Half-time's just gone.
Yeah, Nick Walsh blows the whistle, and it's the Celtic fans who are celebrating, the Rangers supporters in stunned silence. It was a really even game, but in derby matches, especially derby cup finals, any cup final really, even matches can be decided by one moment of brilliance. It wasn't perhaps a moment of brilliance from Kyogo Furuhashi. He was in the right place at the right time to tuck home Taylor's pullback as we move towards the final minute of the first half here, and it could make all the difference for Celtic in this final. The holders looking to retain the trophy. A game of few chances really. Kyogo had missed a really good header just a couple of minutes before he found the net there, so he could actually have scored before he did. Alan McGregor with a save on 21, double save, block on Kyogo, and then he saved on the rebound from the shot from Jota. Rangers struggling to test Joe Hart and struggling to find the quality in the final third, as Celtic were, to be fair, but they have quality in abundance, and Kyogo was there to stab it home to make sure the half-time scoreline here at Hampden in the League Cup final is Rangers 0, Celtic 1.
The Scottish League Cup final, Rangers versus Celtic.
That was an absolute belter.
This is Sports Sound from BBC Radio Scotland.
Midway through the League Cup final for season 2022-23, and it is the holders, the league champions, the league leaders, who have the advantage thanks to their talismanic number 8, Kyogo, 23rd goal of the season. And the Celtic fans rounds half of Hampden Park celebrating. You can hear the pyrotechnics or the flares, the bangers going off constantly off to our right hand side, and the smoke once again just billowing across the pitch. But it's all quiet at the Rangers end, all the way around that horseshoe of the stadium. They are standing, as Liam said, in stunned silence, having watched their team concede so close to the half-time interval. More to come from Pat Bonner and from Neil McCann. Let's get some thoughts, shall we, of Willie Miller, who has been watching on. What have you made, Willie, of the opening 45 minutes?
Well, it's been very tight, Richard, hasn't it? I think where the game has been let down is by the forward players. I think in particular Celtic, in particular Maeda, who's had a number of opportunities down this left-hand side to take on Tavernier, to do much better than he had done against them in the first 45 minutes. And really, he's been Celtic's main failing, and yet he played a huge part in the goal as it kind of played out. I think Golson actually picked up Maeda come in the park, Golson picked him up, get dragged too deep, and then Taylor goes down the line, puts the cross in, Golson's nowhere. You've then got Davis has got two players to pick up. He picks up the one that goes to the near post, which is fine. Barisic doesn't come in, he stays out wide with Jota, I think it is, and Kyogo's left on his own as the cross comes in. He can't miss it. I think Maeda actually tries to finish it, tries to sweep it in the back of the net and misses it, and it falls for Kyogo, who simply just puts it into the back of the net to give himself. What a time as well to get the goal. 44 minutes just before half time. It's been a game, I think, in the first 45 minutes. I think largely has been disappointing in terms of the creative players, and it's been very much, in my book anyway, defence is in top. I think both sides have defended extremely well. Carter Vickers in particular, two great stops, and Lundstrom strike as well. He blocked it, that was heading goal bound too, and then the cross from Kent, I think it was, that came in from the right hand side, and Tillman was just ready to slip it into the back of the net, and he doesn't. Are you watching a replay of the goal?
I'm watching just what you said there. You're spot on about Maeda. Golson picks him up and gets sucked out.
Yeah.
Maeda then spins and Golson goes to go and cover him, but then inexplicably stops and almost goes to step in again, stops, but by that time Maeda's gone. Had he just tracked him all the way, he might have been able to cut out the ball at the first post, and then that would allow Davis to be in maybe a better position then to block Kyogo. So I wondered where he went, and I wasn't sure, and you spotted it about coming out. So that's a big mistake for me from a centre-back position to step out that far.
Absolutely. I think he shouldn't get sucked out in the first place. Maeda's kind of just tempted him to go and pick him up, and I don't see why he has to go, because he's not a threat there. And then when he does go, Maeda spins him, and he doesn't react quick enough, and he doesn't get back, doesn't get himself into that near post area. If he gets himself into that near post area, he blocks the cross coming in.
Of course he does. Of course he does.
Huge mistake, I think.
I'm just looking at the chance before that, the header that Kyogo had. He should have scored. He should have had the target at least. And again, he found himself absolutely free. He came off Golston into almost a 3 or 4 yard area, and was able to get a good header on. Decent header.
It's a great cross, Pat. It's a great cross in the first place. And it is difficult to defend, but you've got one striker up there. Surely you've got to make sure that you're close to him. Fortunately, from a Rangers point of view, it's just the worst header that you could possibly have hoped for as a Celtic player and supporter, because it comes off the top of his head, doesn't it? Yeah. He doesn't put his forehead on it, it's the top of his head he puts on it. We're just watching another replay. Is that the Carter Vickers?
That was the Vickers challenge, which was outstanding.
Magnificent. It's magnificent.
He read exactly what was happening. He got there just ahead of Tillman. It wasn't too far away from his goalkeeper's left post, but he did manage to divert it behind for a corner. I know the goal came late in the half. There seemed like there was a momentum building there, though, Willie, that Celtic, you felt, were getting ready to take the lead.
I think so, Richard, and marginally I think they've been the better side, and they've had certainly more of possession. I think they've got in really interesting situations, particularly Maeda. I think he's had so much of the ball down this left hand side. I think Tavernier has defended intelligently. He
hasn't dived in, Willie, has he?
No,
he just stepped off from that yard. You're going to run me, okay, try it, and then he's almost panicked a little bit when Tavernier didn't step in.
It's exactly what you need to do, Pat, in these circumstances, because what Maeda does is he runs out of grass. And if he doesn't put it out, which invariably he did on a couple of occasions just for a goal kick, he runs out of any space to put the cross in. So I think Tavernier defensively handled him well, but he should be doing better, Maeda. I think if you're looking at the Celtic team, you're looking at possible substitutions. I think he's one that you could take off, and he couldn't put his hand up in the dressing room and say I don't deserve that, because he should have been doing much better. As far as Rangers concerned, they've had a couple of opportunities, the Lundstrom shot and the one that Carter Vickers blocked as well, but not enough. Kent looks dangerous, doesn't he? But you know, his finishing has been, any strike he's had has been way over the top and pretty much uncontrolled too. I don't think Sakala has been enough in the game. I think he is a threat, but he's not had enough in the game. They have no real control in midfield. I think the two sitting Rangers players, I don't think they have been in control of that area. So I think from a Rangers point of view, they've got to improve in the second half. I think, as Richard said, it looked as though it was beginning to turn in Celtic's favour. They were beginning to build up momentum. They had created, you know, enough of little half chances before they got the goal. They get a big chance with a Kyogo header, and then of course the goal came as well. And it was great by Taylor. I think you know, his timing of the run in there, the cross, really difficult to defend. Mind you, I do think that the Rangers defence made it very easy for Kyogo to slip it in.
Greg Taylor's had an outstanding season, hasn't he?
Unbelievable season.
Team. And he offers so much going forward. Another option, of course, for Scotland, and Steve Clarke is bound to clearly have him in his thoughts. There's a fair bit of competition for that part of the field. Certainly he's done the business for Celtic this afternoon. Neil, you said beforehand, from a Rangers point of view, Alfredo Morelos had to have a strong afternoon. He made a strong start, didn't he? Made a couple of really good hold-ups. He brought players into it. We then saw the other side of the game when he does the ridiculous dive and pirouette and throws himself to the ground and pretends to be mortally wounded and then pops back up again. But since then, he's largely been invisible, hasn't he?
Yeah, I think he started the game well, worked really hard up top. The thing he isn't blessed with is pace, Richard, and I think in Carter Vickers they've got a centre-back there that's really comfortable in his own skin in terms of being able to match centre-forwards for pace, because he gets himself in good positions. He's never going to run over the top, Morelos, unlike Kyogo does, so everything needs to be at feet, and I think that's where the problem lies for Rangers. I don't think Kent's been in and around them enough. I don't think Tillman's got in touch enough. Sakala's tried to. So when the attacks come, generally Celtic get so many bodies around that 18-yard box. I think Rangers need to take more risk, but with Lundstram and Kamara playing slightly deeper, for some reason, I agree with you, Willie, I don't think they've controlled the base of that midfield enough. Now, whether it's because Lundstram's been out, or I don't know, but I don't think they've done it. Aaron Moy, in fact, if anything, he's run off him a number of times, which has given me a wee bit of concern looking at that from Michael Beale's point of view. But they need to get more support to Morelos. I don't think he's done anything wrong.
Could they change it, you know, having the two sitting and maybe go with one sitting and push
they could.
Kamara on a little bit? Because on this side here, Tillman's does he go in on top of McGregor? Does he come out here to Hattati, who's pushing out onto the left hand side? Because it looks like they're leaving Carl Starfelt with the ball, but he's doing very well because he's shifting the ball really quickly. He's coming out onto his right foot and he's getting away to Taylor, and Taylor's advancing up the pitch, and he's giving it maybe to Hattati, who then and they're working the ball up this side. Yes, they fail in the final third, but they're working it too easily up the front.
Neil, do you not think that Tillman could go in and get closer?
McGregor?
Yeah,
100%.
But he's playing wide. I'm not too sure why he's playing wide.
Sometimes under Mike Beale, he's this sort of
wide-ish
freedom of position where he can go wide at times, or he can. In fact, when Carter Vickers makes a block, he's actually left side of the 6-yard box. And both him and Kent, I think, have got a licence to drift at times. But this is what I mean about Celtic. Have got freedom within a structure. I don't think that structure's totally there. Although the players might disagree with Michael Beale, say that they do know what they're doing. But I think Callum McGregor is an exceptional footballer. He's an unbelievable
intelligent footballer.
Yeah, but not only that part, he's unbelievably brave at coming and taking it under pressure. And that's where I thought you were meaning that Tillman coming away from a wide position and going to stand right against him, because if Celtic are playing out, it's either going from Starfelt to Taylor, which one of the central midfielders can get to Sakala can go and block Taylor, and Tillman can just say, right, McGregor's the starting pin for everything, so I'm just going to stand on you, and if you want to bypass me into Hattati or go into Moy, then Lundstram and Kamara can go up against that. If they're not on, then you can kick it long, and then our centre-backs will win that and we'll start again. But they're standing off, and I think that's where they need to get a grip of the game.
He's playing far too far to the right. If he goes in there against McGregor, what it does as well is it gets him closer to Morelos.
You're right. You're dead right.
You know, you've then got a bit of support to Morelos, who's had no support whatsoever. So I think it's just a small change, but I'm a wee bit baffled why he's been asked to play out there, because you've got Sakala. Sakala should be, given the responsibility.
Sakala and Tavernier, who you want to open up that wing, don't you?
Yeah, you know, okay, if they've got freedom to switch, then they can both switch wings. But I'm just, with Tillman playing to the right hand side, I'm a little bit baffled by that, because I was expecting them to play more, try to get in contact with Morelos and maybe, you know, working back on McGregor as well to make it more difficult. And that might be something that Michael Beale will be thinking about. I don't know, but I think it would be productive for Rangers in the second half to do that.
Well, we all know that Tillman is more than capable of that. Some of his football from the last few months has been absolutely outstanding. Sakala has at times, he's kind of opened the legs, he's shown the pace that he's got, but Celtic have generally coped with it pretty well. And actual fact, there was that one excellent interception by Cameron Carter-Vickers, but Joe Hart hasn't pulled off a save. Alan McGregor, a couple of saves earlier on in the match, but the chances began to come for Celtic in the final 6 or 7 minutes of the half, and they did go in front thanks to Kyogo. The tap in just a few yards out, 23rd goal of the season it is. Rangers 0, Celtic 1 in the rugby. And Paris half-time is France 22, Scotland 7. So a big comeback required by Scotland if they have to add to those victories over England and Wales earlier on in the Six Nations. The two sets of substitutes out warming up right now. No sign of the starting 11s returning to the field of play. You wonder whether either manager, I guess Michael Beale would be the more likely, might be anticipating any kind of changes at this stage. Still an awful long way to go, and Celtic will be taking nothing for granted. But as Liam pointed out during the commentary, Willie, it's not often that Celtic in any match, but certainly in a big match, have the lead and lose it. And of course they've got this wonderful run of successive victories in cup finals here at Hampden Park. If you fancied Celtic beforehand, and I think you did, from what you said, it's an even stronger conviction now, surely, isn't it?
It is, Richard, you know, but you know, Michael Beale is maybe thinking about making changes. I think he probably has to consider it. I think he's got to get more out of the 11 that started, I think, particularly going forward. But as far as Celtic's concerned, the only one is Maeda. I think take a bad on, take Maeda off. I think that would be a real kind of a thought going through Ange Postecoglou's mind at this moment in time, because they've had so much possession down this left-hand side, and he's just wasted most of the opportunity he's had. I think if he'd been on song, if he'd have been more creative, then the scoreline could have been bigger. But thankfully, from a Rangers point of view, that's not the case. But disappointing for Celtic. But you're right. Once Celtic get their nose in front, and the quality they've got there, and the quality they've got in the bench, I think their bench is stronger than the Rangers bench as well. They've got more, he's got more options to change the game if he needs to change the game. But why do you need to change it when I think it's been beginning, the tide has turned, it's beginning to go Celtic's way. They've got the goal just before half-time. Absolute perfect time to get a goal in a cup final. I mean, if you're writing a script for any cup final, if it's a bit tetchy, a bit tight, both sides aren't being too creative, and then you get that goal in 44 minutes, you go into the dressing room, that gives you a huge lift.
James Tavernier and Callum McGregor just leading teams back out for the second half, just watching as the players hove into view, and I don't think any changes during the interval. No, all the players are back out. All will be resuming just as they did when the game kicked off. 45 minutes of action away. Second half to come. The two managers make their way back out. The last of the players is Rio Hatate. He's certainly again shown this afternoon just what quality he has. Celtic have the lead. Kyogo gave it to them. Can they build on that? Can they see it through? Will they be lifting the League Cup for the 21st time? Or can Rangers somehow find a way back into this one? Live second half commentary here on Sportsound and BBC Radio Scotland with Pat Bonner, Neil McCann and Liam McLeod.
Well, the last time Celtic scored the first goal in a League Cup final and lost was in 1990 when Paul Elliott gave them the lead against Rangers, only for Graham Souness's side to win 2-1 thanks to goals from Gough and Walters. They did score the first goal in the Scottish Cup final in 2002 through Hearts, and yet lost 3-2 as Rangers kick off the second half in the blue shirts, white shorts, black socks with the red tops. Celtic in the green and white hoops. Rangers going right to left, attacking the west end of the stadium. Celtic shooting east They have a 1-0 lead thanks to Kyogo Furuhashi, who is again proving his worth. What a signing he has been for Celtic. It's picked up here by Callum McGregor. As Richard was saying, no changes for either team at the half-time interval, and it's Celtic on the front foot here, having just got that goal before the break, as Moy loses out to Glenn Kamara. It is Alan McGregor in goal for Rangers, Tavernier, Goldson, Davis and Barisic, Lundstrom and Kamara, Sakala, Tillman, Kent and Morelos, as Kent wins a free kick down below us. For Celtic, it's Hart in goal, Johnston, Carter, Bickers, Starfelt, Taylor, Moy, McGregor, Hatate, Jota and Maida with Kyogo.
Yeah, nice little professional foul, I think, there from McGregor, just to stop the momentum of Rangers with Kent in possession.
The smoke again from our left billowing across Hampden Park as John Lundstrom collects in the midfield and turns it back into his own half for Ben Davis. He certainly sent a shockwave through Rangers, that goal just before the break. It can have a massive impact on both sets of players for very different reasons. As Morelos picks up for Rangers, Kent can't control, marshalled brilliantly by Callum McGregor, and now it's Aaron Moy moving up towards halfway. Jota plays it off Lundstrom, back off Jota, and out for a Rangers throw-in on this near side. No bookings in this final so far, long way to go of course, because Rangers give it away very cheaply indeed. Jota, he too gives it away cheaply. He's not been in the best form. We've seen him a lot better in his Celtic career, as Tillman then loses it. Unforced error after unforced error there from both sets of players.
Yeah, but honestly, there's 2 or 3 Rangers players for me, they don't look totally sharp.
Here's Maida driving towards the box, looking to slip it through to Kyogo. It's cut out though. There was going to be a free kick to Celtic if that broke down. It was an advantage given as Kamara is chopped to the ground, and that's going to be a Rangers free kick midway inside their own half. 1-0 Celtic on 47.
He did so well, to hold possession and won the tackle, and then he had a simple pass to Jota on the right hand side. He tries a disguise pass into Kyogo and give the ball away.
Long free kick from Rangers given away, but Morelos has managed to win it back off Johnston. Now it's Kent. Johnston's out of position. Kent finds Morelos. First time ball back to Kent. Infield for Kamara. And now with Lundstrom. Of course, Rangers did come from behind to beat Celtic in the Scottish Cup semi-final last season. As they come forward here, Kent finds Barisic. Good play, good challenge, Callum McGregor. And that's gone behind for a corner to Rangers early in the second half here.
Nice triangular work out here on the left side by Rangers. Little flick by Kent. Barisic getting into advanced area, but again it's that man McGregor coming across and snuffing it out. But that's where you want Barisic in the final third.
Tavernier to take an in-swinging corner from the southwest corner of Hampden off to our left, right in front of the Rangers supporters. In it comes. Joe Hart's got his eyes on it, he punches it away. It's going to go behind for another Rangers corner over on the other side. They'll be wanting to score early in the second half just to wipe out the goal of Kyogo's just before the break.
Yeah, they've changed it, Rangers. They've got Sakala in on top of Joe Hart. Greg Taylor's picking him up, and Golston's come out to be one of the target players with that height of his. Huge area in that front post again.
Barisic over it, in swinger. This time from the Rangers right as they attack the goal to the left. In from Barisic, a decent delivery, it's flicked away off a Celtic head. Might have been Greg Taylor.
No, it was Kyogo actually. We were saying the lack of height, but he got a really good touch on that ball as it swung right into that near post. It's an important area for him. Big responsibility for him to defend.
Still the pyrotechnics going off. This time it's in the Celtic end as Kent gets away from his man but runs into Callum McGregor. Celtic have it back. Maida to Hatate. Now Jota, I think he might have been off there. Flag's gone up.
Yeah, I agree, yeah. But again, it's Callum McGregor just snuffing that attack out. Done here though.
Yeah, here come Rangers with Malik Tillman driving down the right hand side away from Callum McGregor, attacking the Celtic box. Looks for an option, finds it in Kent. He's going to hit it first time off the post. Rebounds alive, and it's into the side netting from Sakala, and it stays Rangers 0, Celtic 1. Rangers' best chance of the game, best chance of the cup final, and they had 2 goes at it. The first off the post from Kent, and then Sakala from a tight angle into the side netting.
Yeah, it's a tight angle, but he should be getting it across goal there. He's getting Morelos for a tap in as well. Might have been offside, might have been ahead of it, but nonetheless he's got to hit target. Kent with a left foot effort just past Joe Hart. I thought it was going to go in off the inside of the post. It found the outside of the post, and originally I thought maybe Sakala had strayed off, but he hadn't, and it was just a wonderful opportunity just to smash it back in across goal and into that far post.
Aaron Moy was caught by John Lundstrom there down on this near side. He's been yellow carded. The first booking of the 22-23 League Cup final is John Lundstrom of Rangers. Here's Reo Hatate of Celtic. Flicks it left to right of the centre circle for Johnston into the Rangers half. Out to the right hand side for Jota. Jota's level with the edge of the D of the Rangers penalty area. Finds Moy. Back to Jota. Drops the shoulder now. Little step over. He's got his cross in as well. And it's headed away by Goldson. Johnston picks up the scraps and then Kamara flicks it clear. Carter Vickers with a strong challenge, and Morelos has gone out of play for well, would have been a throw-in, but Nick Walsh sees that as a free kick against Carter Vickers.
Yeah, I didn't see it had been a free kick. That was a really good header. I think he caught it nice and clean. But it's a lively start from Rangers from this perspective also.
It's a foul by Morelos this time though on Johnston as he attacked the Celtic penalty area. A free kick it is to the holders, who lead this League Cup final. As it stands, they will retain the trophy. Starfelt rolls it out to the left-hand side for Greg Taylor. Inside his own half, forward to Kyogo in the Rangers half. Now he's found Hatate, keeps it alive. First time little pass there to his right square to Johnston. Out to the right-hand side of the Rangers box, Jota. Jota against Barisic. Chops back onto the left, he's so 2-foot, he's back on the right, and he smashes it off Barisic behind for the corner. But Barisic was turned inside out there by Jota.
But he had him beat, Liam, he had him beat. He should have been putting that ball in. Initially, Kyogo made a really good run to the near post. He checked back and he's checked back again, and now he's got him beat and he's got to deliver. Barisic, yes, you give him a compliment because he got his block in, but I thought he should have put it in better.
Celtic corner, their first of the second half, 52 on the clock. Moy takes it and it comes to light a bounce in the area, and Kamara gets it clear. You feel Rangers need the next goal in this cup final if there is to be one. Celtic get another. You cannot see them surrendering their lead from that point. Not this team. One defeat in 58 in the Premiership. It's an astonishingly good record. It's not far off the Brendan Rodgers one. He had 68, it was 69 all told. Ronnie Dyla had the last of those unbeaten games before they were beaten at Tynecastle. So they're not far off that kind of going under Postecoglou in the league. As Tavernier plays it down the line, it was out of play for a throw into Celtic midway inside their own half to be taken by Greg Taylor. Rangers 0, Celtic 1. It's back with Johar. Decides to dump it forward first time with the left foot. Doesn't do it often, he does on this occasion. As Tavernier is fouled by Maida on the far side. That's going to be a Rangers free kick, which is going to be taken by Tavernier, the Rangers captain. Celtic have been able to keep him at arm's length by and large this afternoon so far. He passes it back into his own half for Goldson and he squares it to Davis. It was a 1-0 win for Celtic the last time they met in the final of this competition in 2019. Christopher Julian was the hero. Kyogo was the hero last time they were in the final. As it stands, he will be again as Hatate lifts it forward. Now Aaron Moy driving into it. Right hand side, volleys it across the box. And Dyson Maida's a brilliant fist at keeping it in, and he's managed that. Probably the only player in Scotland who can do that. Here's Hatate inside the area now, looking for space. Goldson meets it, Maida across, it's blocked by Ben Davis. Wonderful block by Davis. Celtic were in for a second there.
They were, Liam. Kyogo's right behind them and he's just looking to tap it in, a lot like Tillman with the Carter Vickers block. He had to get on it.
That was all about Dyson Maida's willingness to keep that ball in play. Here's Hatate for Celtic driving forward. Ben Davis trying to shield it. Eventually, when his keeper didn't come, he has to put it out for a throw-in on the near side. Celtic looking for another here.
Yeah, they've upped the tempo, haven't they, in the last couple of minutes. Johnston, they're moving the ball well.
Johnston for Moy, back to Johnston on the touchline. Challenged by Tillman, who is another who's on the periphery of the game, really, Malik Tillman. He and Morelos started brightly enough, but Celtic have snuffed them out since. And now it's with Taylor in the centre circle. Celtic come forward again. It's spread out to Maida on the far side. Good challenging there by Tavernier to win it back for Rangers, though. His pass was for Kent. Sakala was the option down the line. He's given it to Starfelt. Here's Hatate, and Celtic have an unexpected chance to attack the Rangers box again.
What a gamble from Starfelt. He gambled the ball was going inside.
Here's Moyes, held off his man, he's found Hatate across the face, and Kyogo's there again! Kyogo Furuhashi puts it home! The man with the magic touch for the boys in green and white, and Kyogo doubles up in the League Cup final for the second one in a row. He is the man for the big moment, Celtic's talisman, and it is Rangers 0, Celtic 2, and the holders are well on their way to retaining the trophy.
Yeah, I did say they upped the tempo a little bit. Great run from Hatate in behind, down the side of Golston, and when he cuts it back, that man again, he never stops in the box, does he? Get himself into that brilliant position, right on the 6-yard box, to almost use his body strength in this occasion to battle Davis to put it into the back of the net. Really great from Kyogo, but Hatate involved. You can see it coming, Neil, couldn't you?
Yeah, you can, but it goes back to the gamble from Starfelt. I think Tavernier's got a ball down the line for Sakala with a one-on-one in a wide position with Taylor. He elected to reverse it. Starfelt had read that, intercepted, and then it's that man McGregor. I mean, he's drive and run, he's fed the ball in, but full marks to Hatate, because I think he could have taken that shot on himself. He's taking a look up, sees the little man Kyogo just bombing into the box, and he knows that he's got enough on the pass that he can just tap it home.
Here come Rangers down the right with Sakala. He's level with the Celtic penalty spot as Rangers look to try and find something, anything that would give them a bit of hope in this League Cup final, but it's getting away from them. 57 minutes on the clock. Celtic have a 2-0 lead now. Let's check in with Kerdine Idsan pitch side here at Hampden.
Yes, Ange Postecoglou normally doesn't give too much away, but he's just done an Aussie jig of delight down on the touchline here. I think because of the football primarily that led to that goal, also the way it was taken. He went for a wee cuddle with John Kennedy here. Very unusual for Ange Postecoglou to look so happy during the game, but he thoroughly enjoyed that Celtic second goal.
Well, there you go. Celtic in a dominant position now as Kamara catches Hatate right in front of Nick Walsh. He goes to his pocket, and Kamara is yellow carded, and Michael Beale is staring down the barrel of his first defeat as Rangers manager, and it's coming here in one of the biggest stages that Scottish football has to offer, a major cup final. And Celtic, who are eyeing up a clean sweep this season, are in a quite magnificent position here.
Yeah, they're in a great position. Rangers need to respond. They need to get something back fairly quickly. There was a chance for Sakala out on the right hand side, but Carr Starfelt again stood up to him and dispossessed him. Really good defending just after the goal.
A second Scotland try the afternoon, and a second one for Hugh Jones. They're back to 22-14 at the Stade de France in the Six Nations. Coverage continues, and medium wave and extra as Hart clears out for a Rangers throw in the far side. Both goalkeepers having nervy moments, because Alan McGregor had a scuffed attempt at a clearance just before that. The Rangers throw in taken quickly by Tillman to Lundstrom. What a hole they find themselves in now, Neil McCann, your old team.
Yeah, it's deep, and I think McVeigh will need to reach into the well and shuffle the pack here, because it's I think Rangers look flat. I think Celtic look more sparky, they look more energy about them. He needs to get somebody onto the pitch. It's going to provide some energy and power, because to me it looks like Celtic are quite a bit ahead in this game in terms of comfort.
Jota's lifted it back towards his own box. He's given it straight to Morelos, but he can't find Sakala, and it's cleared by Carter Vickers. The Rangers bench is McLaughlin, Hadji, Jack, Cholak, Cantwell, Wright, Arfield, Raskan and Devine. Clearly Cholak will be called upon at some point. Tavernier swings the ball into the Celtic box. It bounces away out towards the corner flag on the near side. Kept alive by Morelos. We've come out to get onto it. Now Barisic for Lundstrom. Disguised ball for Tillman. Good change of pace. He's inside the area. He pulls it back behind everyone in blue. Tavernier will pick up the scraps though. To the edge of the area for Lundstrom, and he has to go back towards Kamara. The momentum has been lost by Rangers in that attack, and it looked as though Tillman was going to be in there for potentially pull it back, potentially even a shot. Rangers with a big switch to Barisic. A big period in the game here on the hour mark at Hampden. Barisic with a cross ball, and it just flashes across the face of goal and behind, and Joe Hart is happy to see that go past the post there, because sometimes you see those arch over the keeper into the net.
Liam, is a horrible cross to deal with, because you've come into a decent position to almost attack the 6-yard box. It was played in there and it goes almost to the back post, and you're just hoping that it's just going to be off target, but it wasn't far away.
Not sure Michael Beale's brought his kitchen sink with him to Hampden this afternoon, Cerdine, but he's going to make a plethora of changes. Indeed, I think Ange Postecoglou's looking to his subs as well. Cerdine.
Plenty of action, touchline, and the kitchen sink will be thrown by Rangers in the form of Rascan, Cantwell, Jack. Treble change for Rangers, and it's going to be a double change for Celtic, with O'Reilly and Abada already getting stripped. Loads going on down here and on the pitch. 2-0 Celtic. 2-0
Celtic, 2-0 thanks to Kyogo. Second League Cup final for Kyogo. He's got 4 goals. It's a late challenge. Tillman, long ball comes forward there from Johnston. Out of his box comes Alan McGregor, and he knocks it forward to Tavernier. Tavernier taking on Kyogo. Down that right-hand side, Rangers see more of the ball here, but they're 2-0 down. The cross ball ends, headed away in the 18-yard line by Johnston. Lundstrom, cushion header to Kamaru, does likewise to his right for Tavernier. Infield for Lundstrom. Lundstrom under pressure from Maida, who I think might be just about to come off. Short ball to Kamara, out to the right Sakala. Morelos waiting in the middle, but it's easy away there by Starfelt. Easy for the defender. As Kamara picks up and looks for Sakala again. Brilliant challenge there by Callum McGregor, and he lashes it clear into the Rangers half. It's Rangers 0, Celtic 2 on 61.5 here on Glasgow's south side.
Well, they've sparked into a bit of pressure, Rangers, but I still think there's something missing from this attack.
Well, the changes are coming. It's the big switch of play out towards Barisic. He has to come all the way back to get onto it, but he's kept it in play as he shifts it infield to Kamara. Now it is Kent. Kent now as Barisic bursting down the left-hand side. Kent will pass it to him now. Level with the 6-yard line. His first time cross is cut out by Johnston. It's a handball's been given. It's just outside the area. It's going to be a free kick about level with the Celtic 6-yard line.
Yeah, it's a good position, isn't it, Neil? You know, again, it's about delivery, it's about movement. But if Rangers are going to get back into this game, now that they have a little bit of control in the game, they've got to make something of this.
Yeah, again, no pack. I think they've got to put more numbers into the box. It's always an overload for Celtic. Defensively, you need to take more risk, but with risk, clearly you're going to open yourself up to a counter-attack.
Tavernier's over it. We're seeing it's about level with the 6-yard line. It's probably halfway between the 6-yard line and the goal/byline for James Tavernier, a couple of yards from the box on the near side. 2-man Celtic ball. What can Tavernier come up with this? They need something to happen as we approach 63 minutes. Rangers are 2 behind. Tavernier with it towards the back post. Morelos tries to take it down. He shoots and he's found the net. Alfredo Morelos has forced it home. It's just his 3rd Old Firm goal in his 21st Old Firm derby. But the man who missed that penalty in the final in 2019 has given Rangers hope and something to grab onto. Rangers 1, Celtic 2.
That's a great ball from Tavernier. He looked as if he got himself free on the back of Aaron Moy. He takes it down with his left foot. I tell you, he could slash at that, but he takes a good touch. It did hop up at him in an awkward height, but he's just put it past Joe Hart outside his right foot, and it's game on now, and it's exactly what Mick Beale and Rangers needed. They're going to make 3 subs here. But I tell you what,
make the subs?
Yeah,
still make all 3?
I still think they'll make all 3, but it's brilliant from Morelos. It takes a really good touch under pressure to find the bottom corner. I tell you, it's nice making 3 subs when you've just got yourself back in the game.
Yeah, and listen, it's game on now.
Sorry, Packy, Jota's coming off for Celtic rather than Maida, and it will be Moy for O'Reilly. So Abada and O'Reilly on, Moy and Jota off.
Yeah, it's a hell of a game now, isn't it? Going into the last, what's left, Liam? What have we left?
Well, 25 minutes, 26 minutes.
Yeah. Lundstrom coming off here. You could see, I thought he was one that would come off, Liam. He looked a little bit short in this game. You could see he was starting to run out of juice, but Ryan Jack will go in there, Raskin, but Cantwell coming on. That's an attacking player that I think is required in the match.
Yeah, Glenn Kamara comes off as well as Lundstrom and Tillman will also be withdrawn. Ryan Jack, who turns 31 tomorrow, he was on the score sheet in the semi-final against his old club Aberdeen. Raskan was 22 last week, and Todd Cantwell also celebrates his birthday tomorrow, just like Ryan Jack. So Rangers bringing on 3 birthday boys as they look to try and find an equaliser, which would be quite sensational. Cantwell comes on, he's 25 tomorrow. Well, Celtic get the game back underway. It's a different cup final now all of a sudden.
As Liam, sorry Packy, I was just about to say that although there's 3 subs being made, I don't see them changing shape too much. It's just personnel.
Here comes Celtic, the ball into the box is low, looking for Maida, comes off Goldson, back off Maida, and behind for a goal kick. So once everyone inside the stadium takes a collective deep breath, what kind of a game have we got left in our hands here, Neil McCann?
Oh, I think now you'll see Rangers trying to put the pedal down. Celtic just come off the game for me a little bit after the second goal, Liam. And of course Rangers increased their intensity, but I think it's because Celtic deepened. They could get players into better areas. Getting Barisic high on that left side is really important to their game. They did that, they won the free kick.
Yeah, and you kind of felt they needed to score during that period. I think you and Packy were saying it, they needed to score during the period that they were on top on the on proceedings, and there was only 8 minutes between Kyogo's second and Morelos scoring, and it's Morelos on the ball here for Rangers as he slips it low to Tavernier at the right angle of the Celtic box, clips the ball in, cleared by Carter Vickers. Up into the air it goes. Ben Davies is underneath it. Perhaps the momentum
so deep Celtic
the challengers against the holders. It's Sakala on the right hand side, level with the penalty spot, going through the gears, into the box he goes, and Hart comes to claim and smuggles the ball back at the feet of Fashion Sakala, and it stays Rangers 1, Celtic 2 on 66 and a half.
Tell you what, that was a big decision by Joe Hart, because it was a long distance to go from his near post all the way out to collect that ball, but it was a good decision because he just snuffed it out at a dangerous point.
That goal was Alfredo Morelos' 10th of the season. Hasn't always taken him till February, almost into spring, to get into double figures, but that could be a hugely important goal for Rangers if they are to come back and somehow
I think it was a mistake.
James Tavernier lifting the trophy later on.
Yeah, I think it was a mistake by Celtic. It was wrong that they went into a breather.
There's a chance.
And dropped off.
Chance for Celtic. Callum McGregor down the left hand side. He's inside the area now. He plays it low across. It's blocked. Comes back to Callum McGregor, looking for support in green and white. Taylor goes in the overlap. McGregor turns and crosses in, headed away on the 6-yard line by Goldson, and Cantwell completes the clearance up to halfway. 2-1 to Celtic.
Yeah, I was going to just say, I think it was a mistake. They allowed Rangers back into it, and they've got their goal from that set piece, which is Celtic's Achilles heel, as we know.
Matt O'Reilly rolls it out to the right hand side of the Rangers box for Abada. The 2 subs combining. He's got it back to O'Reilly's inside the area, finds Johnston to O'Reilly's on the turn. Alan McGregor will come out and flame as it broke towards him on his 6-yard line. He's got it in his gloves now. We're into the final quarter of this League Cup final, certainly of the 90 minutes. Rangers 1, Celtic 2. And it's 2 players who have been the main men for them so often in front of goal. Morelos longer, of course, at Rangers than Kyogo's been at Celtic, but the impact that Furuhashi has made in Celtic colours has been significant. As Barisic passes it back to Davis, and then to the edge of his own box for Jack. He goes back to his keeper, Alan McGregor, who, when he's played for Rangers, only won 1 League Cup final. It was against Dundee United in 2008. He saved a couple of penalties in the shootout. Of course, he had to play second fiddle, the likes of Neil Alexander in cup finals for Rangers so often. They used a different goalkeeper in the cup competitions. As Abada keeps it in play on this near side, challenged by Kent, and out for a throw-in on this near side.
Do you think that the subs, obviously from Rangers' perspective, Neil, has given them a little bit more energy to go and close down now? Celtic, when they have the ball,
I think that's the theory part, but as you know, when you come on as a sub in a game like that, your lungs are tiny for about 5 minutes or so, 10 minutes until you get your second win. But once that kicks in, you would think, that the players that they brought on will add the energy to the team. Cantwell, a threat. Ryan Jack's impetus. Raskin's got a bit of ability as well to bust forward.
Oh, that's poor from Greg Taylor. He's had it nicked off by Sakala, and suddenly it's 3-on-2 for Rangers. Square ball in field for Cantwell. Cantwell goes down. Was it a foul? Yes, it was. Says Nick Walsh. Right at the edge of the D of the Celtic penalty area. And already James Tavernier and Borna Barisic will be licked licking their lips at the prospect of this. Yellow card for Taylor as well.
What
the
a
first for
position.
Celtic in the game.
Honestly, Liam, if you're hoping for a position for a free kick, this is as perfect as it comes. It was good from Sakala, robs Taylor. It was him indeed that made the recovery run and takes Cantwell out of the game. But what a position for both Barisic and Tavernier. What's that, 25 yards out, maybe 23, 24 yards out. The wall will push back from where it's standing right now. I'm sure Nick Walsh will walk them.
Yeah,
and it couldn't be any better.
Yeah, and Joe Hart's just got to hope that the wall protects one side of the goal and he can protect the other. And if he sees it early enough, he might get across and make the save. It's a very difficult one for a goolkeeper.
You happen
right in the middle.
You happen to see Callum Slattery's goal, and I know Neil did for Motherwell at Rugby Park yesterday. It's in a similar position, and he found the top right corner in the closing stages of that league match against Kilmarnock.
I know Tavernier looks as if he's bossing this, but this looks absolutely perfect for Barisic.
You would think so.
Yeah, just that side of central. Joe Hart will offer them the bigger side of that goal.
This is a big moment in this League Cup final. Less than 20 of the 90 remain. It is 2-1 to Celtic. Rangers have a free kick at the edge of the Celtic box. Here they go now. It's Tavernier who does take it, clips the wall and goes high up into the air, and Hart puts it behind for the corner.
Yeah, and the wall did their job. They jumped in unison and got a really good block on that dangerous position.
Tavernier races over to take the corner on this near side, sensing that Rangers have the momentum right now. In swinging corner from James Tavernier into the Celtic box, headed away, commanding header by O'Reilly. Picked up by Barisic on this near side. He's a little bit short with that, and Raskan has just boot the ball out of play for a throw-in with Neil Abada racing in on it.
I tell you, he took a step backward when the ball was played to him as well, and I thought he's dead here. Somebody will nip it, but he was maybe just revving himself up for a full-blooded 50-50. He was making sure he wasn't at the second prize.
Yeah, and that's that energy I talked about, obviously. With Cantwell coming on a little bit higher up the pitch also from the position of Tillman, and it went and closed Joe Hart down, forced him to kick the ball out of play. Yeah, the momentum slightly changed in this game, although Celtic are still got that 1-goal lead, which they'll be delighted with at this stage.
2 for Kyogo, 1 for Morelos, 2-1 to Celtic.
One from McGregor.
Give it away. Callum McGregor, collector's item. Cantwell to the right-hand side for Morelos, and it's blocked by the man who gave it away in the first place. Callum McGregor.
If Morelos cuts that back, then I think I'm not sure that Ryan Jack is just walking onto that maybe.
Here's Morelos back to Tavernier inside the box, rolls it to the edge of the area for Ryan Jack. Scored in the Scottish Cup final last season. Passes it back to the right for Raskan. This cross is cut out there by the first man, Hatate. Raskan goes back there to Goldson. Lovely change of pace, bursts away from there. Hatate and Kyogo. On the right, it's Goldson. His pass is cut out by Callum McGregor. And out north stand side for a Rangers throw in 73 minutes. New life about Rangers, and you just did not see this coming.
No, and it looks like Celtic are on the ropes now.
Tavernier's cross. Sakala chests it down for Morelos. Morelos looking to flick it out to Kent. It's blocked again, and Abada has hit it. Looked like he was going to get onto it. Barisic slides in to win it back. Jack bursting into the box. He's on the right foot. It's blocked. Still alive, and Tavernier puts it over. Is that a goal kick in a corner? Goal kick it is.
Yeah. I tell you, it just opened up for him, didn't it, Ryan Jack? I think he was bursting in, looking to slip it to Kent, but they just opened up for him, and then it chops back. He maybe just doesn't quite catch it sweetly. I think it's Callum McGregor that makes a crucial block and diverts it, and then it's Greg Taylor off of James Tavernier coming into the back post. But I tell you, this game is absolutely swung on that Morelos goal.
He's almost holding the Celtic team together at the moment, Callum McGregor. He did lose a pass, but he's almost got a block in a few times. And
he's a magnificent footballer, is Callum McGregor. What a servant he's been to Celtic. Best part of a decade now.
Oh, that's an elbow, is it? Yeah,
well, Ben Davis and Neil Abada. Nick Walsh is racing over, and he's just sorted things out pretty quickly, and there's not too much of an overspill from it. 16 minutes to play of the 90. Celtic 60 minutes plus injury time away from retaining their League Cup. Rangers would probably be delighted with extra time given the position they found themselves in at 2-0 behind. And they scored through Morelos just 8 minutes after Kyogo's second, and it was crucial. You felt that they did that. As Jack picks up, they didn't fester too long on the 2-goal deficit. As Cantwell Has it nicked off him by Maida. He bites back well though, but it breaks to O'Reilly. He plays it through to Maida, who goes down, and that's a Celtic free kick midway inside their own half, and that gives them an opportunity just to slow things down a little bit, because Rangers have the bit between the teeth just recently as we go back to Cardine. Pitch side for a couple of changes, one for each team. In fact, Celtic are going to make 2 again.
Very interesting changes. Iwata is going to come on in midfield for Celtic, and O up front, and Antonio Cholak as well will come on for Rangers. So again, another roll of the dice from both managers.
Well, Kyogo will not be finding a hat-trick this afternoon. He's got the 2 as he did against Hibs in last season's final, and he will not be able to become the first Celtic player since Henrik Larsson in 2001 to score a hat-trick in the League Cup final. His place in the team now goes to Oh Hyun-gyu, the South Korean. And the other change for Celtic will see Reo Hatate replaced by another one of his countrymen in Iwata. So a double change, and the Rangers change is Morelos off, Cholak on.
Yeah, I think from Celtic's perspective, I think there's going to be a little slightly change of shape in midfield. Iwata's come on. I think he'll probably sit alongside McGregor a little bit more, with O'Reilly pushing up as almost a number 10 in there. So that's a slight change in that shape, which is normally is 1 sitting and 2 higher up the pitch.
And Neil, Morelos off, would you have kept him on just in case?
Yeah, maybe, but I think maybe he's starting to go off in terms of his energy levels. Cholak is a real threat. We know if he gets a chance, he's liable to take it. He'll be fresh coming on should this game go to extra time. But yeah, it might have been one of those puzzlers for Mick, because Morelos will be feeling good getting him a goal in the cup final. He's gone for it. I think O brings a different kind of foil altogether in terms of for Celtic to work off up top. He's more powerful. He'll back in. I think the Rangers centre-backs will be really pleased with that, because the movement of Kyogo today at times has been really, really good.
Rangers looking to force extra time as Iwata looks for Johnston, but he's overhit the pass and it's out for a Rangers throw-in. Tomoki Iwata, who's Player of the Year in the Japan J-League last year, another prodigious talent who's arrived from the Far East for Celtic. Goldson pumps it up high onto the chest of Tavernier on the right. Maida with a challenge. Tavernier's forced it through towards Sakala. Important that Starfelt deals with it, and he dumps it out of play into the north stand over on that far side. Rangers throw in level with the Celtic penalty spot. 13 minutes left. Rangers 1, Celtic 2. Cantwell to Tavernier. Low ball for Sakala onto the chest of Raskan on that far side. For an option in blue and white. Through for Sakala. He's surely off there. Yeah, up goes the flag. And it will stay Rangers 1, Celtic 2.
It's a good little run. He just goes a bit early and a little penetrating pass in behind the Celtic defence, but yeah, just a run comes too early and he's well offside.
Scotland, of course, looking to make it 3 wins out of 3 in the Six Nations. It's 25-21 now in the Stade de France, and there's just under 9 minutes left of that. Yeah, 71 minutes played in the French capital, as the referee goes to his pocket and it's a yellow card for Oh Hyun-gyu, who's just on. So coverage of that match, France 25, Scotland 21, continuing over on BBC Radio Scotland Extra, 810 medium wave, and on digital here on FM, on BBC Sounds, and at bbc.co.uk/Sports Scotland. It's the 77th Scottish League Cup final. Celtic are 11.5 minutes plus stoppage time away from retaining the trophy, but Rangers, who were 2 behind, back to within 1, and are probably the better side right now. As Cholak picks up on the right, forcing it forward. Sakala gives chase. Starfelt's there to put it out for a throw-in. It's a Rangers throw-in, level with the Celtic 6. It's been taken a bit further back than that by Tavernier to Raskan. To Tavernier, he crosses in, missed by Starfelt. Cholak breaks to Sakala, and it goes behind for the goal kick.
As his first mistake today, Carl Starfelt, he just miskicked right in a very dangerous position, and I think it came to Cholak. He couldn't get it down and get his shot away quick enough, but it was a big opportunity, Neil.
Yeah, whipped right over the top of Sakala and Taylor, and Starfelt got it all wrong. I think it caught Cholak by surprise, to be honest, but
it just wouldn't sit for him. Oh, and then Starfelt plays it straight off Cantwell, and it's to go back to his keeper, and Hart just clears long with the left foot.
this is what you don't want to start in a cup final, giving the opposition any encouragement.
I was just about to say that, and Celtic have been giving Rangers plenty of that just in the last few minutes. Jack pokes it back into his own half for Ben Davies. Gets it out to Barisic on this near side. We're about to go into the final 10 minutes of the final. Rangers 1, Celtic 2. James Tavernier controls in the knee, across halfway he bounds. Slows his run down, slips it forward to Sakala, brilliantly defended by Taylor. And then that ball down the line's come off Tavernier, but it breaks Celtic's way in any case, where O'Reilly can control. Now it's Cantwell, he loses out, he's trying to win it, then he brings his man down, and that's going to be a free kick to Celtic left of the centre circle. 2-1 the holders lead.
Yeah, from Celtic's perspective, it's not flowing the way it was earlier. They're almost getting caught a little bit on the ball, and they're trying to get a ball down to play, but it's kind of almost not flowing for them, and it's encouraging.
So many
Rangers.
substitutions though, Pat, isn't it?
Yeah.
It knocks the rhythm out the side.
There's Callum McGregor for Celtic, who are 10 minutes away. 80 on the clock. There's O'Reilly, goes down. No free kick, says Nick Walsh. Fouled. At least the claim that he was fouled was Raskan. Long ball towards Cholak. Carter Vickers is under it. His header goes out for a throw into Rangers on the near side. Barisic takes it quickly, balls it back into his own half for Ben Davies. Square for Jack. Jack looks up and switches the play out to Tavernier. It's a good ball. Tavernier has it now. The ball down the line to Sakala hasn't really worked for James Tavernier, as he's brought down by Maida. It's a Rangers free kick over on that north stand side.
Liam, he's wanting Sakala to come short and spinning behind, because they've got Joy with the ball just over the top of Taylor. They've got Cholak now that'll run the channel in between the full back and centre backs. That's what Tavernier's looking for.
There's Barisic on this left-hand touchline, just inside Celtic territory. Back to Davis, long ball forward. Cholak wins the header. Taylor with the head clear though for Celtic. Raskan battling for it, gets it back from Jack. Raskan out to Kent, he's got the overlap coming from Barisic. That's where it goes. Barisic, first time with the left foot, comes right through, too close to Joe Hart though, who holds on, almost on 82. Rangers 1, Celtic 2.
Kent looks spent, doesn't he? I mean, that's when you want him just to go at someone, eliminate him. 1v1.
Offside.
It's Maida, he is offside. Here, Packy said that a few times in the background, so a free kick to Rangers over on that far side touchline, midway inside their own half. Taken by Tavernier to Jack, and then Davis. And Rangers force extra time. Celtic looking to keep them at bay, but Celtic pinch it back, and Abada's driving forward into the Rangers box. He goes down.
That's a dive.
It's a dive, yeah. Cards coming out. Free kick Rangers. Yellow card for Lil Abada, and you have to say he's not complaining about the decision, which says it all.
No, he's not actually, and he's driving at goal. Is it Golson or Ben Davies?
Davis, yeah, just outside the box.
Just
I think,
outside the box.
Yeah, it's a terrible dive, to be honest.
Yeah, dive. Deserved a yellow card for that.
Free kick Rangers then. Alan McGregor takes. Approaching 83 minutes. Rangers running out of time. There's been no real VAR. In fact, there's been no official VAR checks. Of course, it's running in the background constantly. They're always looking at things, but there's been nothing to stop the game. So the subs only at the moment. So you're probably looking at 3 or 4 minutes of injury time on top of that. So Celtic 10, 11 minutes away as things stand. Still time for VAR to get involved, of course. And it's going to be a throw into Celtic over on the far side to be taken by Taylor. Bowls it into the Rangers half. Tavernier's header forward is going to go out of play for a Celtic throw-in. Let's go back to Cerdine.
Yeah, another couple of players with pace and energy for the final few minutes. Haksabanovic is coming on for Celtic, and Wright is coming on for Rangers.
Yeah, Scott Wright. He played well when he came on against Aberdeen in the semis, and of course scored Rangers second in the Scottish Cup final last season against Hearts. So a double change and a little breather, Neil McCann, just before the big finale here at the National Stadium as we tick on to 84 minutes.
Yeah, I think this will be blood and thunder for the last 10 minutes. Sakala coming off for Scott Wright. I thought it might have been Ryan Kent.
On comes Wright. Here's a speed merchant. And those are the changes. And his game on. Celtic with a throw in on the far side, taken by Taylor, gets it back from Callum McGregor. He's been ransacked though, but the ref didn't like the challenge.
That was a tight one.
Free kick Celtic level with the edge of the centre circle in the Rangers half.
I tell you, that's a big decision from Nick Walsh. Raskin just jumped in on Greg Taylor. It looked like it was body by body. I think he got a touch on the ball, maybe not, but had they not blown, then it was 3 for 2 for Rangers.
He's kept the lid on the match, to be fair to the referee Nick Walsh. Not been too much to speak of in that point of view. Jota caught Goldson sleeping there, just down by the byline. It's O'Reilly, pulls it back the way to Taylor. He's going to be onto it now on that far side. Haksabanovic given the ball down to the corner flag. Celtic trying to eat the clock down. 85 on the clock. Rangers clear. The header from Haksabanovic in field. It's going to break Rangers' way, and Nikola Raskan gets it away as the flag goes up for offside in the previous phase of play. So it's a Rangers free kick, and they need one big push towards the end as Fashion Sakala come off the pitch, and the other side comes away all round in front of the Rangers fans. But it is nail-biting territory now, that's for sure. Kyogo Furahashi's double is winning the cup for Celtic as it stands. So we approach 86 minutes. And what you're hearing in the background is the Celtic supporter have got hold of another ball, and they're throwing it back onto the pitch whenever they can, and Alan McGregor just gave it straight back to them there. Long ball out to the far side. Tavernier now with Raskan. Level with the edge of the centre circle in the Celtic half. Turns away from Ohiengu, forward to Cholak. Wright does enough to force it to Kent. Wright was brought down, the referee's going to bring it back. I think it's going to be a Celtic free kick.
It was a high boot, I think.
Yeah, that's what it's been given. Scott Wright's boot was too high according to the referee.
Yeah, Celtic just hoping that they're going to get over the line here with this one. They're just trying to break up the game a little bit.
It's been quite scrappy, which unusually for Celtic might suit them right now.
Yeah. I think a lot of players out there today, Neil, struggled controlling the ball and so on that pitch, and it hasn't flowed the way that we would normally expect it.
86 and a half played. Rangers 1, Celtic 2. Is there to be late drama? And plenty of that in this fixture. Down the years, the decades. He goes out for a throw-in to be taken by Tavernier, bowls it forward. Cholak beaten to it by Starkop, but his header's gone straight to Scott Wright. 4 in green and white around him, and Carter Vickers is the coolest man in Hampden, albeit his pass doesn't find a teammate. Out for a Rangers throw-in, which Cantwell takes quickly to Tavernier. 87 played now. 3 minutes plus stoppages left for Rangers to rescue it. Here's Raskan. The break, almost came to Cholak, and Barisic can't control either. They both had a chance. Barisic still has it. Back to Ben Davis, to Kent, and then to Davis again. Out it comes to Barisic. The two Croatians both had an opportunity in space in the Celtic box there, as Wright picks up down this near side. Challenged by Iwata. Abada helping out as well, and Wright's just rolled it out of play for a Celtic throw-in, level with their own 6-yard line. Rangers 1, Celtic 2 here on Sportssound. The closing stages of the 22-23 Scottish League Cup final.
There'll be extra time. No, there's a lot of subs came on this pitch today, so there will be probably about 5 or 6 minutes of extra time.
Well, we have seen lots of it. Injury time, stoppage time. Recently because of VAR, as France extend their lead in the Six Nations 30-21, and it looks like they will be winning that one. Scotland's Grand Slam hopes gone as Johnston wins it off Ryan Kent on the near side. Neil said he was tired, he looked tired there. Barisic goes down, no free kicks, a long ball forward for Sad Haksabanovic, who picks up left hand side of the Rangers half. He's driving towards the box, chops back onto the right facing Goldson, back onto the left. Haksabanovic shoots, blocked by Alan McGregor. Still it's Haksabanovic, he goes down, corner, not penalty. Alan McGregor irate at a couple of his teammates there as Celtic look to spring Rangers in the closing seconds, heading towards the final minute here of the 90, and it stays Rangers 1, Celtic 2. Celtic have a corner, and they will not be in any hurry to take this, which again is not like.
No, I'm not sure what they were complaining about there. That was a really good block.
Yeah, Haksabanovic, I think maybe thinking it's a penalty. Goldson thinking that he maybe played it off. Haksabanovic. Suddenly,
the team that loves to take set plays really quickly, lightning quickly, are taking their time. We're in the 90th minute. Rangers 1, Celtic 2. It's out of play for a Rangers throw-in. So all eyes will be on Kevin Clancy, the fourth official, shortly when he tells us how much injury time Rangers are going to have to play with and how much injury time Celtic will be away from once again winning the League Cup. A trophy that has found Celtic Park as a second home for most of the last decade, as Iwata is brought down here by Kent. Bit of frustration there from the Rangers number 14, who's the latest to be yellow carded by Nick Walsh. Rangers 1, Celtic 2. 10 seconds of the 90 minutes left. Barisic has got involved and he too's been shown a yellow.
No, both of them's been booked for the two tackles actually.
Now Čolak fancies getting involved with Johnston. And suddenly Nick Walsh is something to deal with. Well, this is all going on. The board down below us is going to be shown to tell us how much injury time there is. Kevin Clancy's too busy to tell us what the stoppage time is because he's keeping an eye along with the linesman on the near side and Nick Walsh, just to make sure that this doesn't spill over any further and if there's any more cards needing to be distributed. 4 minutes, it is 4. As I said, there was no VAR checks, official checks, so you're back to standard stoppage time now because it's just the substitutions. Alistair Johnston's been yellow carded as well, and we're already well into the first of the 4 minutes that were added on. And then Čolak's been booked too. He's dished out about 4 or 5 yellows there.
4 yellows in one stoppage.
All over in Paris, France have beaten Scotland in the Six Nations. Grand Slam hopes over for the Scots. Celtic take the free kick out to this near side, and it's a slip from O, and it was out for a Rangers throw-in. Do Rangers have anything left here? Do they have anything left? 3 minutes left.
They need to push bodies forward in support of Čolak. They need to take some amount of risk here.
Foul there, I think, by Jack and McGregor, was it?
Yeah.
The international teammates.
Yeah, it just stops the game. Rangers struggling to get up the pitch. That's the problem.
Free kicks, a throw-in.
Oh, it's a throw-in, is it? It's always actually a free kick.
Callum McGregor's been injured by that challenge, and he's gone down. And I wouldn't imagine he'll be getting too much sympathy from the Rangers fans who want the ball up the other end of the pitch. Callum McGregor's down and will now have to receive some treatment. And it just eats away the seconds. Yes, they'll be added on at the end, but it means that Rangers can't get any momentum going. And there are quite a lot of Rangers supporters are either away or are getting ready to head. Empty seats, congested areas at the top of the stands off to our left as they look to make a quick getaway. They do not want to see the Celtic celebrations, which are so close now, Paddy Bonner.
Yeah, they're very close. Listen, they've got their goals. They've got the goals at the right time. Rangers have made a fist of it in the second half, really put them under pressure, and they've got over the line with Rangers getting that goal back, but not a vintage display by them by any means, but if they win this game, they won't be complaining.
Yeah, well, that won't matter, will it? Here come Rangers with Jack, though. Out to Kent. Perhaps Rangers aren't done just yet. Kent, what a brilliant challenge by Johnston. Out for a Rangers throw-in. There's about a minute and a half of the injury time that was allotted to play. Nick Walsh will add probably another minute on top of that, I would say. As Ben Davies looks for the big switch. Čolak can't get anything onto it. Drops to Greg Taylor, who volleys it forward. It's going to come right through towards Alan McGregor, who controls the edge of his box. Oh Hyun-kyu goes down. The Celtic fans claim he was fouled. Rangers clear. Out to this near side, comes off the head of Johnston. Rangers have a throw-in. We're into the final minute of the 4 that Nick Walsh added. Barisic will take. It's Rangers 1, Celtic 2 in the final. It's almost time up. Barisic rolls it back to Davis. Infield to Raskan. Challenged there by Iwata, who's managed to pinch it back here. Iwata will play it through to Haksabanovic, and Celtic looking to kill this off right now. Haksabanovic brought down by Cantwell. Play on though. Chance here for O'Reilly to seal it, and it's saved by Alan McGregor. The card's coming out again, this time for Todd Cantwell. Alan McGregor makes the save. It's a Celtic corner, but there's only about 20 seconds of the 4 minutes of injury time left here.
Yeah, it was a chance for Celtic just to kill the game. 1v1. I thought Golson did quite well to slow down Haksabanovic, but when it comes to O'Reilly on this right-hand side, he tries to go with a little disguised one at the near post, and McGregor read it and got a really good hand down and keep Rangers just hanging on. But they're going to run out of time, I think. Here.
We've played the 4 minutes. Celtic take a short corner down on this near side. The Celtic fans sense victory is theirs. It goes out for a Rangers throw-in, and Eventually, Barisic is going to take it, level with his own penalty spot. Added time at Hampden. Rangers 1, Celtic 2. Callum McGregor heads forward towards the Rangers box. Davis returns the favour. Colak to Tavernier. This might be Rangers' last chance. Tavernier takes the high road. Big switch out to the left. Cantwell struggling to keep it in play. Johnston does enough to put him off. And out for a Celtic throw-in down on this near side. And that is just about it. They played almost an extra minute on top of the 4. And the Celtic fans are already celebrating. Empty seats throughout the Rangers sections. Play on though, the throw-in taken. Johnston, Rangers head forward towards Cantwell. Starfelt's underneath it. All eyes on Nick Walsh, the referee. And then it's missed by Davis. Haksabanovic has got it round Connor Goldson. And he's driving in on Alan McGregor to finish it. He's put it wide at the left-hand post. That was it there, that would have been it. Although, I think it is it now. Rangers take a short goal kick to Goldson, who's given it away straight to Oh Hyun-gyu, who's on this near side. Blocked by Goldson, out for a Celtic throw-in. We played a minute and a half over the 4. The Celtic fans twirling the scarves, the flags in the air in the late afternoon sunshine in Glasgow. The League Cup will be theirs again as Johnston bowls it forward. It's gone out for a goal kick. But Alan McGregor will take this. There can't be any time left. Celtic asking why this hasn't been finished yet. It is finished now! It is League Cup 21 for Celtic Football Club as Ange Postecoglou embraces John Kennedy down below us. It's his 3rd trophy as Celtic manager, as they win yet another trophy in what has been a glittering decade and more in this club's history. Their 36th League Cup final, their 21st League Cup victory, and they have one man to thank for it yet again. The hero against Hibs in December 21 is the hero against Rangers this afternoon in February 2023. Kyogo Furuhashi, worth his weight in gold to this club. His double, either side of half-time, has made the difference. He scored twice against Hibs last season in the Showpiece final, and he's done it again today. What a player he has been for them. They've had many talismanic forces down the years of Celtic, but Kyogo Furuhashi's etching his own name, his own little bit of history into the annals of Celtic Football Club. Alfredo Morelos gave Rangers hope 8 minutes after Kyogo's second. It wasn't enough. And Michael Beale tastes defeat as Rangers manager for the first time. They're players who celebrated Scottish Cup success here last May taste defeat this time around. And it is Celtic who've now only lost one of their last 20 games at Hampden. And they've won 12 successive cup finals. This is a winning machine. Yes, they had a blip 2 seasons ago. And this further underlines the progress that they have made under Ange Postecoglou, who arrived on his own without any coaching staff. He has turned this club round, and he's turned it into the winning machine that many of his predecessors had done before. It finishes here at the National Stadium, Hampden Park, with the green and white half of the stadium in celebration mode. The Rangers fans already trooping out, dejected. Rangers 1, Celtic 2.
The Scottish League Cup final.
Live